Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, my name is Dave Scott. We are changing things up here just a little bit as we got ghosted by our guest tonight. And so I am in a sheer panic here trying to put a show together. And part of the problem that we have here is this is what happens when people think you're a podcast. Is they think, oh, it's a podcast, they could just reschedule. We don't have that opportunity. So I am just trying to get everything set up here for this show right now. So just bear with me. And Lee Strauss is here. Let's bring Lee in. We're going to have a great show. We're going to do questions. Right off the bat, I do not have anything to roll call here because unfortunately I just do not have time right now as I'm trying to set things up. Hold on, Lee. Hold on. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy. I'm just I'm happy to be here with you. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're the greatest.
You ring and I'm jumping.
All right. So what I wanted to do tonight, because literally we've been flying off the handle for the last 20 minutes after getting ghosted by our scheduled guest. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to do a Q&A with you guys. Okay. We're going to do a Q&A. And just for the record, I'd been trying to get a hold of the guest since 5:00 this afternoon. Yeah.
Oh.
And Dirty Filth has been trying to get a hold of him too. And we just could not do it. Could not get a hold of him. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we are going to do a Q&A. I want all your questions to be focused on what has happened in this last week. Nothing off topic because we got to try and keep it on topic. This is going to be an audience participation show. Lee and I are going to go through with it. Hopefully it turns out to be a good one. And Kitty, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. I apologize for sounding rushed here, guys, but it's frustrating sometimes. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, I've had to deal with it many times.
Hold on.
when I was doing my show.
Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Lee Strauss is here as we are going to talk about the week that was in UFOs. I mean, what a crazy week. This could have been the biggest week in UFO history, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to be taking audience questions. If you're an X on YouTube or wherever you're watching, please put your questions in capital letters, and we are going to get going here in just a couple of minutes. I'm not going to be doing a roll call right now because there's too much to still try and set up. and let's try and have a good show here, guys. I got to catch my friggin' breath here. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, as it helps with our YouTube algorithms, if you don't mind. And thank you, Area 54. Appreciate your love, buddy. Here we go.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears to what's that we have in minds. We're together, friends. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by CaribouCon. Go to CaribouCon.com. Get your tickets for British Columbia's only paranormal event, September 18th through 20th, in the heart of the Caribou. We are going to have an amazing show tonight. Lee Strauss is here. We are going to be talking about all sorts of UFO events here coming on up, as we've had a very, very busy week in the UFO world. In hour number 3, Swamp Dweller, we'll get to his story, but Lee will be here for the distance. We're going to be taking a lot of audience questions tonight. So if you're in our YouTube chat or you are following us on X at Spaced Out Radio, make sure you get your questions in. Please put them in capital letters. My stupid eyes that don't seem to work very well look or have an easier time reading them when they are in capitals. So do me that favor. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get right to it here. Lee Strauss is a respected voice in the UFO and paranormal communities, known for his grounded opinions, sharp wit, deep interest in the ever-changing world of UFO disclosure. A regular contributor and guest right here on Spaced Out Radio, Lee brings in a balanced approach to conversation surrounding extraterrestrial encounters, whistleblower testimony, and government secrecy and the latest developments in the UFO world. Whether it's discussing leaked documents, strange sightings, or the future of disclosure, Lee combines his curiosity and skepticism with a passion for uncovering the truth behind the mysteries in our skies. And you know, this week, UFOs has been nothing short of wild, with fresh discussions surrounding alleged disclosure efforts, mysterious aerial sightings, renewed debate over the whistleblower claims, and growing public interest in what the government may truly know about these craft and potentially non-human intelligence. From social media exploding over new footage and pilot encounters to continued speculation of classified programs and hidden technology, the UFO topic has become a buzz around social media and in the mainstream as well. We are going to kind of go through it all tonight. Lee Strauss, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio, my friend. How are you?
I am fantastic and glad that I could be here, Dave, for sure.
It is a week that I have wondered, what would this week be like? What would that first week be like? Now, I don't think we've had UFO disclosure, Lee, but I do believe we've had confirmation of the phenomena. And you and I have talked for years about the fact, and I've mentioned it even longer since you've been on, before you were on the show. I had been talking for years that I don't believe in disclosure. I believe in confirmation. Disclosure is opening a door that is going to absolutely blow the minds off of everybody. Opening the doors to what happened at Roswell, opening the doors to what happened with the Phoenix Lights or in Kecksburg or in Kingman, Arizona, and every alleged crash spot in between. That's disclosure. Did Eisenhower trade humans for technology? What happened to that Holloman Air Force Base video in the 1960s where the craft allegedly came down? In order to have proper disclosure, Lee, we need that information. We don't need a bunch of talking heads who are literally looking like a bunch of WWE promos going out there. Let me tell you something, brother. The UFOs, these UAPs, they're real, brother. Like, we don't need that. We need truth. We need to be able to get to the point. Your thoughts on the week that has been?
It has been a crazy week, and you are absolutely correct. But I do want to say I believe we did get disclosure because of the things I mentioned on the last show, where you had Donald Trump basically saying, I'm asking my people to come out with the information about UFOs, aliens, and extraterrestrials. He's basically, for me, that's all I needed. That was the confirmation I needed to help dispel, all of this stuff around the ufology and around ETs and that sort of thing. That's what I wanted, and I got it. For everybody else, and I've been seeing it online a lot. When is disclosure going to happen? Okay, we put out these videos, we put out this, these photos and blah, 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 blah. But, when you start getting into this stuff, a lot of that stuff can be explained, right? As we've seen, as we debated last Friday night. But I do agree there should be a little bit more. And if that is whether or not somebody from the administration or somebody comes out and says the actual words that so many are waiting to hear, there is extraterrestrial life visiting our planet right now or in the past. Those are the words I think we are still waiting to hear, even though this stuff has been put out. But for myself, I think I'm satisfied with what has already happened. It makes me wonder, even certain individuals that are highly, sought after to come on, to shows like yours and whatnot. If there's just a little bit of I want to say this correctly. If we are to believe the administration, there does need to be a little bit better footage put out. And, Alapolina Luna has talked about these, 46 videos or something like that are coming forth in 4K. I mean, there does need to be that for some people, and I can understand. But for me, I'm satisfied.
I understand with where you're going, and I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? Because I do have some sentiment to what you are saying as well about the UFO world, okay? I think for people like you and I who are involved in this field, it's easy to say disclosure has happened. A controlled disclosure, more confirmation than disclosure, okay? But in a true disclosure fashion, when you are not getting information that needs to come out, which they're going to hide in behind national security, is it really a disclosure movement? Is it something that we could be satisfied with seeing a bunch of videos that show like a game of Pong going on from the 1970s on your black and white television set? I mean, I don't want to sound negative because I'm going to reaffirm what I said last week when we did the panel. That is, I am excited and ecstatic that the files were released. I'm excited and I am ecstatic about what is coming up. And if in the next couple weeks we get those 46 videos from the Department of War, that makes me happy. That makes me truly happy because I think we are moving in the right direction. But in the end, I think we also have to look at the quality of information as well. And I don't think that quality is there just yet. It may come. It may take 3 months. It may take 3 years. It may take 30 years or longer. But as long as the information keeps trickling out, eventually a trickle turns into a waterfall, Lee.
Yes, and where that goes, is unforeseen at the moment, right? And what I've noticed is it seems like the CIA has more to do with UFO disclosure than we thought. And what I mean by that is a lot of things are being released right now. And it seems like the CIA has their foot in it and blocking a lot of information that could come easily, but does not. And I'm talking about the I don't want to say this. Some of the the vid, right? I mean, so much information has been blocked by the CIA, and I'm wondering if they're not the gatekeepers in all this information somehow above the president of the United States. Um, I've heard about boxes of files being removed from offices, about JFK, and about
MK
some
Ultra.
other, yep, MK Ultra and some other programs. So this is a huge concern for me. Does our president right now, is he really in control, or is somebody else in control above him that we don't have a grasp on what that is and what that looks like?
And that is a very conspiratorial point of, what many people believe. Is there a shadow government that is really pulling the strings on what the American public is allowed to see and what they're not allowed to see?
Mhm.
As long as we have NFL football, Major League Baseball, NBA, and even on the East Coast, hockey going on to take our minds away from things, as long as we have great music, barbecue, and, the 4th of July with a lot of fireworks and everybody allowed to have their pointy sticks, then that's a good America. You know what I'm saying? If you could
Yeah,
distract from that. And look, I say that, and Lee, I know you're American, and you know my love for the United States of America. I love the United States. Being in Canada, maybe not the most popular opinion right now. I don't give a care what anybody says. I love the United States. I love the people. I have a lot of family and friends down there, such as yourself and
mhm,
many, many others, including all of our listeners. But
right.
I think that, if that conspiracy is true, that we do have some sort of shadow government that is blocking this, which I think there's legs to what you're saying. It does make for an interesting conversation on where this is going to go, because one of the things we did see this past week in UFOs, is some sort of pushback from the CIA and other alphabet agencies in the intelligence community. And by the way, thank you to all the alphabet agencies and agents listening in right now on Spaced Out Radio. Give us a call sometime. You already have the phone number. We'd love to chat. So thank you very much. A little tip of the cap to you agents out there, right? And you know what? I think it's one of those things, Lee, where it's plausible. I'm not going to say that it's impossible or that we're making things up. I think it's plausible.
Yeah, I think it's more than plausible at this point in time. It just seems like somebody's pulling on that thread and things are coming apart at the seams. Um, and who else would do that? Who else would stick their foot in it? and put their foot in it real deep than Donald Trump. He likes to upset the apple cart no matter what the issue is. It seems to me, right? And
But
make
do you
people
find it
really
interesting?
upset.
Let me cut you off right there. Do you find it interesting that they are doing this while he is on a trade mission in China?
Well, he's back now, far as I'm aware. But we don't know. I mean, I don't know. I should say that. I don't know for sure that they went in and took those boxes during the time he was in China, or did this happen?
He was in China when it happened.
Okay, so my first inkling is, why isn't JD Vance all over this, right? Um, if they are going in and stealing records that they have acquired, it's yeah, it's really concerning. It's upsetting. Us, the public, have wanted to know these answers for so freaking long, and maybe we would not have seen all of these files, whatever the case may be. We would have seen something, right? And everything is a step towards that disclosure. UFO disclosure, JFK, MK Ultra, and so many other programs, guys, that have basically put a foot on our neck here in the US of A. And I wonder if a lot of the stuff that has been happening hasn't been coordinated by the CIA. And what I'm talking about is, um you know let's just say the UAP, the acronym UAP. Did the CIA come up with that, and did they put it out there? I mean, a lot of the stuff that has happened over the last 60, 80 years, like just, making UFOs a joke and making it funny. Oh, a UFO, aliens, something from another planet. Ha 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 ha. Wasn't that created by the CIA? I think it was. I think that's just another ploy or another distraction from reality, is to make it funny, make it something to laugh at instead of something serious, because it is serious. It affects everybody on this planet, and it's not just the US, but it seems like the US and whatever this control is, CIA with the military industrial complex is in control of this thing, this massive thing that belongs to everybody across the world. And I think it's starting to get unraveled, and I'm starting to think that we're seeing pieces and parts of what is really going on and who is in control.
And that's part of the scary part is what is going on? What are they trying to accomplish? Look, I think, in my opinion, Congress people Anna Polina Luna, Tim Burchett, and Eric Burleson have done yeoman's work on trying to keep the pedal down on this subject. Has it been for the benefit of the people? They'll tell you it has. They'll tell you about transparency. They'll tell you that, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And we're not even into mile number 1 just yet. But on the flip side, what I'm tired of is hearing them say, and I'm going to use this cliche because I like it. I made it up yesterday and I like it. Okay. Is hearing these WWE promos about how amazing this technology is. If you guys saw what I saw, if the public knew, remember Tim Burchett a couple weeks ago, if the public knew what I know, they would burn the world down about this subject. Okay, what is it? What is it? Lou Elizondo always telling us, and I'm not picking on these people when I use their names, but these they go into these amazing cliches of what's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
It's like it's a real downtrodden, like like Lou Elizondo saying earlier on a podcast, It's going to happen whether we like it or not. Love each other, love our families, spend more time with our children. You know what that tells me? That tells me that this is threatening. That tells me that an invasion is coming. You know what I'm saying? If I let my imagination run wild. But this is what I'm telling you about these WWE type wrestling promos that everybody is giving about this subject. It doesn't matter whether they are a whistleblower, whether they're an insider, whether they're a government official. We're getting these promos. So WWE, if you watched it long enough, and I've been watching since way before the Attitude Era, show you my age. Let's go back to when Hulk Hogan won his first title, over the Iron Sheik, who is still the greatest heavyweight champion ever. God, I miss the Iron Sheik. God bless him. Okay.
Bushwhackers.
But if we go back to that time and we watch wrestling, it's not about the matches in the ring. It's about the promos they cut to create the drama, to get to our emotions, and to try and hammer us with feelings that we should be concerned, we should be distressed. We need to keep the pressure on because we got to know. But love our children. Spend time with your children. Spend time with your loved ones. You know what that tells me? That we're in for some bad stuff. And yet, the United States is the only country in the world that has labeled UFOs / UAP a threat narrative.
Part of that threat is probably the CIA. I think the more we get into this stuff and the more things get uncovered, as we've seen this week, I just feel that, we're going to find out that, the government that we thought really isn't in control, and the CIA, somebody in the CIA is. I just,
and we could be, Lee. We could be, but what I'm saying here is when I look back on the last week, I'm going to take the videos away. I'm going to take the photographs away because looking at dots doesn't interest me. I can go on my patio on a clear night and see lots of dots flying around. All right. Some of them probably say Starlink on them. Some of them probably say, other names, SkyHub 360, whatever the satellite names may be on there. General Electric, Nintendo, whatever it may be. There are thousands of satellites up there that look like dots in the sky. Lee, you're a UFO researcher. You go out into the mountains where there's no light pollution and you are filming UFOs. And what do you see, Lee? You see a lot of dots moving across the sky. I'm going to take that information out. But I look at the paperwork where they talk about Maury Island. They talked about NASA. They talk about other places. And we will get into the videos next. Okay. But I look at that information. That's what excites me. The photos don't excite me. The videos don't excite me. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to get into the videos here because I have a theory here that I want to get to you because I've been thinking about this for about 4 or 5 days. If you're new to this subject, use critical thinking. Critical thinking will lead you down the path of believing blindly or believing that there could be something else going on or being hidden. This is Spaced Out Radio. The second half hour is next. All right, man. That was a strong start.
Well, that's all you, brother. That's all you.
Oh, bullshit. You got some good stuff going in there. You got some good stuff. You've had like 4 words that whole half hour. You had 4 power words. I heard you say the
and sandwich.
Excuse me. And I'm sorry, people. I'm going to apologize now. I am going to be using that WWE promo thing for a while here. You're going to hear me say that quite often in the next little bit because I'm kind of impressed with that one.
There's a lot going on there. Now that disclosure has happened, in my mind, what is stopping them from talking about the things that they have seen in the skiffs? I mean, come on.
Well, save that. That's good juice. That's good juice right there. Save that.
That's I mean, seriously, come on, guys. What the hell? What can be stopping you now that the president is coming out and saying, that I want my administration to come forward with everything that they know about aliens and extraterrestrial life? I mean, that is freaking disclosure. I'm sorry. Him even saying that is disclosure. It's so frustrating. But I think we're going to get there. I really do. I think you're going to see the president, what they say, July 6th or 8th or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of people talking about that and have been talking about that for months and months and months. So maybe that press briefing will happen.
Yeah, President Trump just left Beijing about 11 hours ago, 12 hours ago. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, man, this is, even though you're in a foreign country, you're really not in a foreign country. This world is so united, What affects one country affects us all anymore, right? I mean, obviously with the fuel prices and the Strait of Hormuz, I mean, it's anything that goes on in this world affects everybody. So it's not like we're on this huge planet anymore. We're so bound together in every single way, shape, and form, it seems. And why everybody expects the US to come out only and talk about this stuff is interesting. I've heard some things today about Japan coming out with some UFO files.
Japan's coming out. Many others are coming out too.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm on an energy drink right now.
Nice.
Tonight after the show, I'm headed to the mountains
Are you?
in the dark. Yep.
Good for you. How far are you driving?
I am going to be driving for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Even if it's raining, I'm going. So
Are you going north or south?
east.
East. You going to Rainier?
No, I am going to be heading towards Ellensburg.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yep.
Make sure when you get there, you give the old UFOs a tip of the cap there.
Well,
Right.
if they're following me.
All right, everybody, put your questions in capital letters. I want audience participation in this one. I need your questions in capital letters. And if you're new here, we do not take phone calls. We do not give out our link. All right. We're a live radio show, not a podcast. Thank you very much to Dutch Hank, Gizmo, Area 54, and Kitty Cattywhack for the super chats. We appreciate your love and support of this show. Don't forget to shop at our spaced out radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. We're coming back in 5 seconds. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for joining us as we continue on following the UFO story with Lee Strauss here momentarily. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Lee Strauss from Element 115 on Spaced Out Radio. He's here once a week for the Q&A, and let's get right to it. Lee, one of the big things that has been a hot button for discussion has been the UFO videos that were released. Okay, there was, I believe, 20 videos that were released by Arrow in the 161 files in 17 pages. And if people want to view that, they could go straight to, war.gov/UFO. That's war.gov/UFO. So let's give you that website if you want to play along. And the videos I thought were disappointing. The photographs I thought were disappointing as well. And here's the reason why. Number one, dots. Explain the dots, Lee.
Dots can be so many things, right? What you're looking for when you're looking at old videos and photography, like a lot of the stuff that we see there, is anything that was like put out prior to like 1960, because there was a lot less satellites in the sky back then. But as years have gone on, there's a plethora of satellites up there. Dots couldn't be so many things, but you've got a lot of space debris up there that's reflecting light. The big thing that I see right now online with dots is you'll get something that's moving through the sky super high up, and it flashes. And then a couple, seconds later, it'll flash again. A couple seconds later, it'll flash again. Kind of rhythmic, right? And that's just a tumbling piece of space junk or a satellite that is capturing the sun, and flashing back at you. So, or flashing back down. Dots can be so many things, guys. Really, let's see something within our atmosphere that is lower to the ground. Maybe try to capture a building, or try to capture trees in the background, or mountains in the background, or something to give whatever you're filming context. But that's the problem with dots. Dots are dots.
And I think that's a great way to break it on down. And we have 46 other videos coming out. Anna Polina Luna going on X today saying that she has secured it. These videos will be coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks in another UFO drop that will happen at the website war.gov/UFO. Here's the thing that I have found interesting, because I've gone back to this a couple of times. There's been over 500 million people visit that website since the files were released a week ago Friday. All right. So here we are looking at over almost half a billion people or more interested in this subject. Now, I will admit, I'm probably responsible for about 5 or 6 of those hits. I am. So I'll take credit for that. All right. But this is what has me interested in this. If you look at those videos, the majority of videos surround the Middle East.
Yeah.
They're from war zones in Africa, war zones in Syria, war zones in Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and everywhere around. Even in countries in the Middle East that aren't having war going on right now, but tensions are high, they're there. Even in Southern Europe, in Greece, there was a couple from Greece that made it. But where's Greece? Right across the Mediterranean from the Middle East. So when you look at all of this, Lee, This is the way I'm picturing it. Either UFOs and aliens have a real interest in our fisticuffs, wars, battles, engagements, whatever pronoun you want to use for them, or we're looking at UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena, which is man-made objects, which means that it is likely something from an alphabet agency doing their spying. Because what a lot of people don't realize, Lee, and this is where we're going to educate a little bit. The CIA or the NRO or the NSA, they don't tell the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, the Marines what they're flying in that area. Whether it's drones, whether it's these orb type objects. Okay. So either the aliens have an addiction to war because we're all getting all these videos from war zones, or it's our technology. And if you look at the list of videos that Anna Paulina Luna put out, you know, because she labeled it on her X account, which 46 videos she wanted. Once again, most of those videos are from war zones or the Middle East or anywhere but the United States of America. I think that is a major clue that we are not dealing with UFOs, that we are dealing with UAP. Lee, your thoughts?
Well, I'm thinking we're dealing with a couple different things here, right? My opinion is that you've got a lot of cameras over there right now on a lot of different drones, a lot of different, aircraft as well. We're filming everything over there as we're going along, even on body cameras, right? So it's a high percentage of videos that you're going to get from those locations where we're doing a lot of filming. I mean, probably even more so filming there than we are in the US of A at the moment, from from people that we can get that information from in real time. Our administration has access to all of that footage happening, almost in real time, if not in real time. So we're going to be able to gather that a lot easier than we are from Terry, so and so here in the US as he's filming something with his phone camera, right? So we're actively looking, and there's people actively looking at that as it's being filmed. So that stuff gets put in basically its own file, UAP, UFO, whatever it is. So we're going to get that information. A lot less is going to be actively filmed over, say, the USSR. Right now we're not going to get that kind of information, or over China, or over wherever else. But yes, I do think that ET has an interest in what we do as far as, war, conflict. It just, this harkens back to the whole thing with our nukes and shutting down our nukes, and then, having them go live, and same with Russia. They did the same thing with Russia during the same time period. So yes, they have an interest in what we're doing, but they just want to make sure, I believe they want to make sure that we're not going to wipe each other out. They have a vested interest in human life continuing here on this planet.
And that could very well be. That could very well be. But I think we also have to be able to call out what we see as concerning. And once again, because I'm all excited because I just got called a grifter in our chat room, and it's been a long time. Honestly, it's been about 3.5 years since somebody called me a grifter, which is really cool. So thank you for that. Here's the thing. If you're just tuning in, I said earlier in the show that I am a big fan of this release. Did I not? I
Mhm.
did. I did. Okay. Number two, my job as a radio show host is to create conversation and allow people to see both sides of the ledger. That's what proper journalism is. It's not just to see one side or the other, it's to see both sides. My job is to create conversation from the observations. So that is where we are going with this conversation. If you look at this subject and what happened on Friday with this wonderful release, but if you look at it blindly and just say, here we are, we got it, that's what they want. They want us to be blind to the fact. Okay. As an experiencer, as a journalist, I'm excited about the release, but I'm also seeing patterns. Part of my job is to see patterns that just don't make sense. When 2 plus 2 does not equal 4, you have an issue. Okay. That's not being UFO racist or anything like that. 2 plus 2 has to equal 4. And there are a couple situations, especially with these videos, that are not making sense.
Yeah.
So that is where we have to get to a concern. Now, Lee, my question to you is, how do you think not only the UFO public is going to react, but let's say the public or the news media in general who's hopped up about this subject, and you want to take advantage of that because it's about time they start taking this story seriously. Okay. What happens if all of a sudden in these 46 videos that come out, it's all just dots again?
Well, we've heard that there's more than dots. You know, the people that have seen him, Tim Burchett and Annapolina Luna, have mentioned that it's substantially more. When what I understand is that there's a lot of close-up sort of video as well. Not to the point where you can see nuts and bolts, but you can definitely see the shape of the craft. And that's, to me, is seriously interesting. Every time they release footage, I mean, with the last release, like we talked about, a lot of it is dots, but um, it's like Disclosure Day all over again. And that's what it will be to me, and I'm sure so many of you, right? Us as people that have experienced the phenomena firsthand, it is such a relief after so many years and of just dealing with the naysayers and finally being able to see, I told you so. And that's huge to us, right? It's
Huge,
huge to so
huge.
many of us. So many of us that have put our butts on the line over this. And not just close friends, not just family members and all of that, but it's the people that we want respect from, right? And that we haven't been able to get respect from, people that laugh at us about the subject. But truthfully, this is a huge step in the right direction for vindication.
I love how you put that. That was very eloquent and 100% correct. Okay, this is big vindication. What a lot of the people who are new to this field don't understand is those who have had the ultimate experience of being taken or having a close encounter of the third kind, the fourth kind. Okay, they are people who have tried talking to their family, who have tried talking to their friends, and many of them do not get that support. They get were you drinking? Are you on drugs? Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you bipolar? Are you having some sort of mental episode on what's going on?
Are you seeking attention?
Are you seeking attention?
Hmm.
Right? Is everything okay with your job? Is everything okay at home? Are you being verbally, mentally, physically abused in some way? They get all that. I know from personal experience, I lost some of my best friends of decades because I got into this subject and they didn't believe it.
Yep.
I know other people who have lost friends and family because of this subject, because they did not get the attention or understanding, I should say. Attention's the wrong word, but understanding from people who are supposed to care about them. People who have been taken have lost jobs, have taken their own lives, have had family ripped apart, all because of UFOs and ET contact. That is a strong reality for the UFO world, not the nuts and bolts UAP crowd that is following around the government. But if you go into the real depth of ufology, not apology, ufology, that's where you get the people who've had the encounters, the people who just want to know, why me? Why do I get taken once a week? Why do the gray guys not leave me alone? Why are they now taking my children? Those are the questions the real people in this field want. It's not about propulsion systems. It's not about the Holloman Air Force Base video. It's not about anything else, Lee. It's about getting to the reality that this does scar many humans, many good people. And believe it or not, people who don't believe in this or are skeptical about this, it's not just tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists who work the night shift at the local convenience store, who have no dental plan, missing their front teeth, have never made more than 25 cents more than minimum wage. We're talking doctors, we're talking lawyers, we're talking scientists, we're talking construction workers, people who deliver your mail, people who are in your restaurants preparing your food. Okay, we have all sorts of people. The ETs do not discriminate. They don't care if you're part of the LGBTQ community. They don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, First Nations, whatever you may be. They don't care about your religion, whether you're Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Buddhist, or even a Pastafarian. They don't care. If they're coming to get you, they're coming to get you. That's real ufology.
Yep.
Not dots, not anything else. Take it.
Well, that's huge what you're saying. And it's so true. My marriage ended because of this whole thing, right? When you get taken, it changes you, right? And when that happens, life doesn't work the same anymore. Your reality has been changed. And the people that you loved and cherished, weeks ago are now saying things about you, right? And it just doesn't work, right? It doesn't work anymore. So I chose to end my marriage because she couldn't understand what I have been through. And it just didn't work for me anymore. So I left. I ended the marriage over it because of something that I went through and she couldn't understand. But I think that's just such a small, minute little grain of sand in this great big beach that we're on right now with all of you and everything that you've dealt with and seen and believe in your hearts. And there's so many people that aren't able to see that. And right now, it's all starting to shift and people are starting to see and people are starting to open their eyes and go, holy cow, maybe he was right. Or maybe she was right about what she said. This is such an important time for all of us. And we need to grab onto it with both hands and put our foot down on that gas pedal and ride this thing out, because right now it's our time. It is our time.
It is our time, exactly. And you know what? We got 4 minutes to go. Let's kick off a question here. Let's go with Jaquetta here from our YouTube audience. I saw somewhere that disclosure happened a long time ago, but we didn't understand it. What is your opinion?
Disclosure,
I'll go first. Or go ahead, Lee, please.
disclosure happened a long time ago. Well, it's happened from many different people within our government have talked about it for a long time. Even presidents have touched on it many times. And there's a lot of videos about that, with different presidents touching on it. So um, I believe it's been happening for a long time, but nobody's come out and actually said the words that everybody's waiting to hear.
Many people will not be satisfied until there is a podium, a spotlight, the White House in behind the microphone saying, "My fellow Americans, we are not alone." That is what everybody thinks disclosure is. Personally, I think disclosure is individual. Okay. I don't need to know about Roswell. I don't need to. I mean, I'm curious. I don't need to because I've had ET contact. I've had UFOs on the ground. Lee, when you came out to Flight 21 last year and I was showing you where the UFO had landed, and you walked into that area with your Geiger counter and you started picking up radiation, that was a piece of disclosure for me,
Yep.
right? That I did see what I saw,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was good.
Exactly.
That was good confirmation and good disclosure for me. I don't personally need it because I already know. But we also have to remember the UFO in general, with over 8 billion people on this planet, is still a very small community. Even if there are, let's say, 100 million people who take this subject as seriously as we do around the globe, because we're not flat, we're going around the globe. All right. Then that's still a fraction of the people that are into this. Yeah, we may have 500,000,000 or 500,000,000 more, or 2 billion more, 3 billion more who believe that UFOs and life exists, but it doesn't mean they're into the subject as much as we are. There's a big difference in that.
Yeah.
Disclosure, I think it happens individually when you awaken to the fact that we are not alone. And hopefully you don't get taken because of it. Your thoughts, Lee?
Well, it is individual, right? But I still think we're waiting for those words. Like I said it in the beginning tonight, it has already happened for me, with what Trump put out on Truth Social. Uh, and unfortunately, right now we are in such a bind, left and right in that sort of thing, and it's unfortunate because this is all coming down right now. It's a time for us to come together, um, for sure, because there's other species out there, and now we know that, right? There's God knows how many species are out there. So it's time for us to be one, in this, and the fact that we're all humans on this planet.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that. If we're going to take this subject seriously, the way that we want this subject to be taken seriously, we need to have the proper information.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, not confirmation in tidbits and morsels. Bring it out. Bring it on out. Yes, there's going to be some speed bumps along that. How is it going to affect the economy? How is it going to affect religion? We have Anna Polina Luna, tweeting about the Book of Enoch. Read the Book of Enoch she put out there. We have Tim Burchett saying that there is some religious connotation to this. We have, JD Vance coming out and saying these could be demons. Well, what's the religious connotation to all of this? Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio coming on up with Lee Strauss. The week that was in ufology, and a big week indeed. We continue after this. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, buddy, we're going to put a video out here. Hold on. See you in 5.
our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. And let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush-era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right, we have Lee, we have Dave. Thank you for tuning us in tonight. We greatly appreciate your love and support. Thank you, KJ Musk, man. KJ, how you doing? Thank you. for the great super chat, along with Kitty, Area 54, Gizmo, and Dutch Hank. Greatly appreciate the love. Thank you. We're going to get to more audience questions coming on up. If you have questions, put your questions in capital letters. It's easy for me to find them. So make sure you do that. I'd appreciate that. We're coming back in 5 seconds, everybody. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's all about UFOs tonight with Lee Strauss as our guest. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in as we look at the week that was in ufology. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Kantakoi. Kantakoi is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. We bring in Lee Strauss hanging on out with us as we are talking about the week that was in ufology, and a big week it was. If you've been living under a rug, you don't know what's going on. Maybe you haven't tuned on in because you've been on vacation or whatever the source may be. Okay. If you go to UFOs or the website, war, that's WAR, war.gov/UFO, you could see the 161 files that were literally released a week ago. And now we're kind of taking a look at it, taking a look at all facets of it, Lee. And what a week it's been, man.
It's been a huge week, Dave. I just want to let everybody know that it's not a daunting task whatsoever. You can get into that, that website and look through those files so easy. It's so simple. It's incredibly simple. And what you've got there is these like rectangular boxes, and it'll give like the file name or whatever, and maybe a little blurb about each of the either a PDF or a video or a photo. It's going to tell you right there what you're going to click, when you click on it, or before you click on it, what it is. And so it's super simple to do. And I encourage everybody to do this. Really, I do. Look through that stuff, and you can kind of get an idea pretty quick when you start doing that. The other stuff that is coming up like on Facebook and YouTube and these different platforms, that a lot of that stuff that they're putting out right now is a bunch of garbage, and it's just meant to distract you from the real thing that's coming out, or that's been put out. I've seen so many pictures of like the five pointed UFO and that sort of thing. Just from the source of that was a video that they put out of a flare, but somebody decided, well, we're going to, make an AI photo of it and put it out to everybody. And, it's just it's not real, right? It's garbage that people are making up. So please do yourself a favor and take a look at those files so you can kind of get your nose knowing what is BS and what is real.
And I think that's very important for people to decipher truly what is going on. Some of the news that has been breaking already is that Anna Paulina Luna and Eric Burleson have literally put their support behind the new director of Arrow. And that is James Kozlowski. He takes over. He was on the interim after Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick had stepped down. And one of the things that Kozlowski did was he actually apologized for, the way Sean Kirkpatrick was acting when he was in the head of the Arrow program. A lot of people feel that he was a disinformation agent with what was going on. And the new guy is basically saying, hey, I'm going to work with you guys. This is what we're doing here. And I realize that national security will always play a role in everything. It will, Lee. There are certain stories that they're never going to tell us. Example, if there was another, nuclear missile silo incident, I don't think we're going to hear about that, because that's going to put the worry into 380 plus million Americans that something is infiltrating our nuclear facility. I don't think we're going to hear things like that. But I do think that they are going to try and work together, something that Arrow wasn't really wanting to do with government officials who were elected prior to that.
Well, I think what we're going to end up seeing, Dave, is that now that this stuff is starting to come out, a lot of people are going to go to hell with my NDA. I'm going to tell everybody what I know, because now they're talking about it, right? The floodgate has been cracked open. And who knows what we're going to hear. We may end up hearing more information about another missile silo that was shut down or turned on. I think this runs the gamut. We don't know what we're going to hear from people that are whistleblowing right now. I think it could be extremely wide and extremely varied what we're going to hear. And it's so exciting. The more threads that get pulled on this blanket, or whatever this is, this sheet over the whole UFO subject, the more we're going to start to hear about, first, obviously, the UFOs and ET, but more so into, abductions and what things have been held underground and what technology we may have and who's been working on such and such. I think more of that's going to end up coming out, and it's extremely, extremely interesting.
I would agree with you on that. Here's a funny sidebar to this. I don't know if you caught this story. Many people may not have, but I found this hilarious. So, Argentine television hosts in Argentina decided to do I don't know if I can get through this with a straight face. They decided to do a UFO panel to talk about UFOs, to talk about, what was going on for expert analysis, with the disclosure files. Now, this is live on air. So they asked this gentleman to come on in, and they asked him, where did you study UFOs and how did you get to know so much about aliens? The doctor replies, I'm a urologist, not a ufologist. It sounds similar, but it's not the same. You can't make this up. This actually happened. And how do you do this? How do you do this? How does that even happen? Like, when you're preparing for a show, if I'm preparing for a show, I know who I'm talking to. I know what the subject matter is about. I have a bio on my guest. Who booked this guy? I can imagine that it was some young journalistic intern who is out of college, or maybe currently in college, but doing a practicum. And they said, we need a ufologist. And quickly did a Google. Google sometimes will mix up your words. Okay. It came up with urologist and called the doctor up and said, hey, we'd like you to come on this show to talk about UFOs and everything like this. And the guy's like, well, okay, that's not really what I talk about. But if you need me there, I'll be there, because press is press. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I thought that was a funny sidebar that we could all have a good laugh at right there. Yeah. Urologist and ufologist, definitely two different topics going along the lines right now. But getting back to Anna Paulina Luna, this was her line on X. She says, I finished review of 40 plus videos set for declassification out of the Department of War in the coming weeks this morning. We are standing with the new and very qualified director of Arrow, who now has my full support and has proven through action that he is working in good faith, on declass efforts. Now, there's a shot of Luna, Burleson, and Kozlowski standing together. I mean, that is a big piece of the puzzle to get Arrow on board. Now, the question is, will Arrow play ball? They can say that they will. The new guy can say they will, but who's controlling him? Who's controlling what he's allowed to say? That gets to your first hour point, Lee, that we got to figure out who's pulling the strings here on this topic.
Yes, we do. We do. And I don't know how that's going to manifest, right? But there's a lot of people that are really hopping mad, and not just mad and angry about them just throwing this to the side. It's just going to be more strings being pulled before we figure it out. I just think that the more you pull, the more we'll understand, the more information we're going to get. But the other thing that comes along with this whole thing is we're going to end up hearing about, different underground bases, and, the threads of this ufology. I mean, they run deep and they run into everything. MK Ultra, like we were talking earlier, and just so many things. Kennedy. I mean, think about the threads of this thing and how interlaced with our past, here in the US. It's all so tied in, and so much information is going to be coming out. And it's, like I said, it's truly an exciting time. But your guess is as good as mine of what we're going to hear next and how that's going to tie into something else. And it's fantastic. It really is. It feels like things are getting unearthed, daily right now. And it's just an awesome time to be alive. It's an awesome time for people to watch your show and hear about this news almost on a daily basis.
All right, let's get to an audience question here. Let's go to Vincent here. What about the Apollo missions disclosure? How does that impact NASA and their failing transparency? I think this is a great question because me, I have been barking about NASA for years. Ever since Bill Nelson, who was the head of NASA briefly, came out on his first public interview, stands up at the podium and takes it in the direction, in his southern drawl, basically saying, hey, I've seen these videos of these Navy pilots with these UAPs. We need to figure this out. I'm very interested in this. And not a single person ever asked them, what's in your closet, Bill? What's in NASA's closet? We never got that. And they continued on talking about it. Nelson kept talking about it. Eventually, it led to this absolutely useless $100,000 study where a bunch of researchers and scientists allegedly went through all of NASA's files, but miraculously could not find anything to do with life forms out in the space or UFOs or interactions with NASA astronauts and rockets and shuttles. And they kind of laughed and snickered and made fun. We all knew that was BS because the transcripts had already been released. And now we're finding out Apollo 17 had numerous encounters. Even the famed Apollo 11 with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins in the LEM. Collins, in his report that was released in the UFO files, basically said that he felt like the LEM got bumped by something and that they were looking at a craft, and all three of them were looking at the same object, but all three saw different things. One saw a hollow cylinder. One saw two rings. Armstrong saw two rings. Collins saw the hollow cylinder. And Aldrin saw something that looked like the shape of a letter L, which in our terms would be like the boomerang craft. And then when they got to the moon, They said there were things moving all around. Right? NASA has already released a bunch of these files from the X-15 pilot who had an encounter of being paced by a UFO at 315,000 feet above the Earth. And then the UFO took off into deep space. It's happened. I think one of the flaws that we have in the media right now is the media should be all over NASA about this. It shouldn't be about the videos, but it is, because videos are visual. They're not going hardcore. This goes back to my statements years ago. If I put my old radio journalist hat on, that's what I went to school for. They're missing the story, and they're missing something big because they don't know how to ask the questions, because for too many years, the mainstream media literally poo-pooed this subject. They thought it was a joke. You know, how many times did we see, you know, the male anchor with really, really bad pasted on hair? Okay. And he says, well, Jane, you know, there was apparently a UFO spotted over the town last night. John from whatever town it is sent us this video, and we got a good report on it. Let's send this over to Rex. Rex is on the scene. Yeah, Joe, here we are with our person here who had this video, and all of a sudden the video starts. But before the video starts, it always plays the X-Files theme song, or the Twilight Zone, or whatever. We don't get that anymore. But it doesn't mean that they are asking the proper questions. And I think, unfortunately, unless Luna, Burchett, or Burleson bring up NASA and call them out on this, we're not going to get much more. It's unfortunate, but I think that's what's going to happen. And NASA is going to somehow, like Teflon, get off scot-free.
Yep. I believe you're correct on that. You know, we did see quite a few videos and photos, and also a couple PDFs as well, just talking about what the astronauts saw when they were up there and describing, you know, the things that they've seen, which in one case I would say that was probably just ice coming off the rockets and the fuel tanks. But you know, there's a lot of things that happened up there around the moon, and you know, even in orbit. And you notice how NASA always tries to turn the cameras off, or they switch the view of the camera or whatever really quick, so that we're not able to see the things that they're seeing up there. I think the stuff that was released was the low-hanging fruit, the stuff that we could get a hold of. I think there's so much more that they did not have access to yet, but that is coming. That is quite possibly coming our way. Remember that NASA is supposed to be a civilian, you know, not a government owned industry. What do I want to say? What's the right word?
They're part of the defensive corps now.
Yeah. Okay. But originally they were supposed to be, you know, a civilian group, not controlled by the government. But anyway, so I believe there's a lot that's still coming out, and we just didn't have access to it at the time, but I believe it will be here. And so hopefully a lot of that stuff will trigger other people to come forward. And I'm really thinking about Elon Musk and what he must know and what he has seen up there, and has been unable to say, yeah, I can corroborate that. But because of his defense contracts that he has with Starlink and other things going on, he has been unable to talk about. But I think it's coming.
That would be nice if it did. If Elon came out with it, would you believe it? I would.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's probably got it in 12K. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's right. Let's get to another question here. We got 3.5 minutes before we have to go to break. Zeta is asking, what do you think abductees are going through due to disclosure?
Well, this we talked about this. It's vindication for us, right? I mean, I think for us that have experienced this thing firsthand, or this phenomena firsthand, I think it's it's just a huge sigh of relief. And it's like, well, shoot, I'm basically getting my life back, because this is being, widely disseminated, across, not just here in the US, but across the world. This thing is happening. And it's amazing. It's truly amazing. However, I have not had any of the people that poo-pooed this or gave me crap about it come to me yet and say anything. That still hasn't happened. So I'm really wondering how far reaching this is. Is NBC and ABC and CNN, are they talking about this as openly as maybe we should be? Or are they just keeping it kind of under the surface a little bit? Some things were released, some UFOs were possibly seen. There's apparently there's some videos. I mean, is this how they're going about it? Or are they saying, well, ET apparently is real? I mean, how are they, what are they saying to the public about it?
Well, and I think that goes to the ignorance of the subject. It does. When it comes to NBC and other media outlets, it's the ignorance of the subject. I think abductees are happy. I think they're proud that this subject is going on. Just like you said, it's an "I told you so" moment. But I think they're also going to be disappointed in the fact that nothing about abductees has come out. We inched so close prior to this, like in the last congressional hearings when they were asking questions about hybridization programs. Right? We didn't get there. Let's sneak in one more. Ryan here on X. Are either of you starting to get concerned with the negative scenario?
And what I think he means by negative scenario is control, right? Ultimately, that would be something that they would try to spin this so that they can have more control, or so that they can put more money into the DoD for different programs. I'm not, because nothing negative has really come out yet. If they were going at it like, well, this is something that we need to protect ourselves against, but there hasn't. I mean, a couple of people have said things, but it's not like anybody has their hand out right now asking for money from the government over this.
I think that we're close. I think we're almost there, but we will have to get there in the future. I think that it's a subject that many aren't ready for, but we will get there. Lee, I'm going to get you to hold on. We're going to continue with audience questions. We are halfway through tonight's show, a review of the week. Lots of audience questions coming on up. We're going to continue with the UFO story here on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. I love bringing these tinfoil stories to you, and I hope you love listening to them as well. Here we go. Second half hour is next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
That was one of the fastest half hours I've ever done on this show.
Oh my gosh. What happened? It was like 10 minutes?
I don't know, man. Like, I looked at the clock and all of a sudden there was like 3 minutes, 39 seconds left till break. I'm like, where the hell did that go?
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Right?
I just changed my shirt.
My goodness.
But Tim Mothman, I think you're right, man. Symbiotic relationship. I do agree. You know, obviously that hasn't been put out there yet, but I do agree with that. Like there is something that we're getting from them and they're getting from us. And obviously we're not privy to it, but it is definitely there.
You got a fan on X right now.
Oh yeah?
Ooh, girl, the guy on the right is handsome.
Yeehaw.
You know what that means, right? Pretty much June is saying I got a face for radio.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look good, my friend. You do. You got your hairs cut. I noticed you're all shaved up.
You're
do. Looking good.
I bet you. I was laughing with my barber yesterday because I bet you he cut probably close to 5 pounds of hair off me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So who gets that? Who gets that? Are you sending that to anybody in a Ziploc?
No, that one went in the garbage.
Okay.
You know what bugs me? Little Timmy Senor, how you doing? Thank you for the super chat. You know what bugs me about it though, Lee?
What's that?
Is right before I went in, I'm like, I need to film this. I'm probably gonna go live on YouTube with him shaving my beard. And then I walked in there and I got distracted before walking in there because I hate my eyeglass lenses. I do. Like, no, not my lenses, my frames. I hate my frames. Loved my old Ray-Ban frames, the metal Ray-Ban frames. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. And so I was talking to the lady. I work with her brother in my daytime job who does the frame. She's like, yeah, bring in the old frames. Okay, I got to go. I got to go in for my haircut. Totally forget about filming my beard. And I know Chad the barber would have enjoyed me doing that. Okay, he would have enjoyed it. He'd have been cool with it. And I realized after he went straight across to give me like that square look on Minecraft. Okay. I was like, crap, I forgot to film this. Right.
Well, I think you should put it in a Ziploc bag and auction it off myself.
I was going to, but I totally forgot I wanted to film it. So the good news is, okay, I will grow another beard. I mean, I haven't lost the beard. I just trimmed it, you know, but I will grow another beard. And then we'll figure out what to do with that one. But I will film it next time. I was kind of upset about that.
Yeah, I think
this question from Nicole. Will shaving off all your body hair like a gray alien bring disclosure? It's a lot of hair. That's
It'll bring disclosure to something.
Nicole, I will shave my body hair if you shave your mountainous leg hair. No, she knows I'm right now. She knows I'm right. I'm not even being insultive to her. I'm really not, because I love her.
More things will be able to be seen when you shave it all off. So, you know, all the creases and
let me tell you something. Resist. About 6 years ago, I had my hair down to here. Okay. And I had a listener who claimed she had cancer. I donated my hair to her. I mailed it to her in Phoenix. And then found out after she got my hair and bugging her, I want pictures of the wig. Okay. I found out that she did not have cancer after all. Did not lose her hair. That pissed me off. Big time. Here we go. We're into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. And we have Lee Strauss. We're looking at the week that was in ufology. And Lee, thank you so much for being here. We're going to open this up to audience questions right off the bat here, my friend. Let's go next to Cluster, who is asking, does Neil deGrasse Tyson owe the UFO community an apology? Now, for people wondering, Neil deGrasse Tyson, basically the top scientist or astrophysicist in the United States, works out of a beautiful lab in New York. He's got perfect hair. His hair is always perfect, and a fantastic mustache to boot. But he has always been very, very snarky with the UFO community. He has always been very snarky with the evidence that was brought forward. He's even had tete-a-tetes online with Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb about the subject of UFOs. But now he has a new book out that is like, what is it? What would happen if we had ET contact? What is first contact going to be like? And now, because of this whole movement with the UFOs, he's now starting to think, well, maybe there is something there. Can we call him hypocrite, or do we call him anything else? Go ahead.
Apparently he had this book ready to go. So I think he knew this was coming, because it was like 2 days after disclosure, I call it disclosure, he releases this book. What the heck? It's like he knew that this was coming, and he had this book already planned out. And I wonder if there's not something in that book that says that I knew it all along, and I had to just toe the line per contract or whatever, whatever it is. So I think it's very possible that somebody, will find something in that book to say that, he is saying that he is right about this, and that this was just part of the plan, and that sort of thing. So I think so. I think you'll find that a lot of people, big names like that, even Michio Kaku came out and said something too after they released it. He said that this was fantastic news for everybody, because he hasn't been able to really become open about the subject either. And I think I saw part of the interview, but he was very excited about it, even though the person that was interviewing him was like, well, this is just another nothing burger. But it hasn't turned out to be a nothing burger. This is not a nothing burger. This is huge. I remember a day and 2 days afterwards, there was a lot of people saying it was just a nothing burger, but it sure hasn't turned out to be, has it? It's just this massive thing.
I think it's a start, but I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is, I think it's very interesting that all of a sudden he, like you said, he already had this book out. I think they were waiting for this moment, like they knew. I think that's very interesting that it gets released right as soon as these files are released. And now all of a sudden he's going to go buddy with the UFO world. I'm saying that facetiously, but you never know. Is he jumping on the bandwagon? And what the sad part about it is, all of those arguments he had with people like Avi Loeb and other astrophysicists were absolutely useless. And it was all ego. It had nothing to do with the science. It had nothing to do with potential life out in space. It had all to do with ego, instead of looking at the evidence that they have. So,
right.
And to add to that point, if you want to take one step closer to it, to the disclosure movement, when I first heard that Steven Spielberg was coming out with his new UFO movie, and it is set for release in June, called Disclosure Day, I really, really thought this had nothing to do with the disclosure movement. Watching all the people online, oh, this means Steven Spielberg's going to break disclosure. His movie's going to be the catalyst to the government going on. And I was like, hold your horses, people. It's a movie. It's a movie. But now I wonder if he was tipped off about this as well. And it makes me wonder if there's this grandiose plan, like you said, by a shadow government or whatever, to keep these stories going, because apparently in that movie, there's something that's really real about it, according to Spielberg.
That's what I'm hearing as well.
So is this all a plan? Are they using Spielberg? Was Spielberg asked to make this movie because they knew this was happening a couple of years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I could tell you that my tinfoil hat is starting to warm up thinking about it. Whereas a month ago, I'd have said, you're dead wrong. You are dead wrong. Right?
Yeah. My mind has been thinking about this for a bit with the fact that we had these preachers come out, some people come out and talk about, well, they had a big meeting with some government people at some, I don't know, cabin somewhere, whatever. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but they started saying, well, that it's going to affect what we believe in the Bible, and the Bible might be wrong, and all these things started coming out. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Sounds like a bunch of hogwash, right? But I've mentioned it before in previous conversations that we've had, Dave. But I think they needed to come out with some information. What do I mean by they is I mean the government, our administration had to come out with something to kind of quell that talking point, because they didn't really want it out there. They wanted their truth out there. So they went ahead and released the 161 files that they had right now and get it out there to us prior to the disclosure that they had planned for, because there was that information coming out from the who are they? I'm drawing a blank. The information coming out from the gosh darn it.
You really hit a brain fog there.
Oh boy, I did hugely. Yeah, but the people that were coming out that said that they had gone to that meeting and were talking to the government about disclosure and getting their church and their pastors and
Perry Stone. Perry Stone, the preacher.
Thank you. But that whole thing, they didn't want that narrative out, so that's why I think this came out so quick. A little bit maybe unplanned.
Could be
ahead of time. Yeah.
And you bring up Perry Stone, and that is an interesting part of the conversation. So people wondering who Perry Stone is, he's a televangelist who has a very successful religious podcast. And he alleged, and he's kind of retracted on it, many others have now, but he alleged that there were a number of church leaders across the United States who were talked to by intelligence people, basically saying, hey, you need to start preparing your congregations for alien life coming to Earth and ET disclosure and UFO disclosure. And it made big news there because we'd never heard about this. We didn't know that was going on. That is one of the very interesting parts of this first release, Lee, is that how much of it that has been built up through the congressional hearings, through hearing people like Tim Burchett and Eric Burleson and Anna Paulina Luna talking about this subject, did not come through. UFO videos. Whatever happened to the story about the New Jersey drones? Now, I still believe those were man-made objects, but there are a lot of people who don't believe that. President Trump said, you'll have your answer within a week. Remember that? He said that. We never got that answer. Okay. Yeah. So what about the church leaders being forewarned about this? Why wasn't that released? Why wasn't there any news on that? All of the videos, once again, being from the majority of them being from the Middle East, right? Why are they not over? All we heard for the last 7 years is how all of these incursions, remember they use the word incursion a lot. All these incursions were happening over military bases and training facilities, like the Nimitz incident, like the incidents on the East Coast where they tested out missiles and dogfighting. Where were they? We heard them all over the base. We didn't get any of that. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, man, it's drop number 1. More is coming. But will it ever come? We don't know. But they were sure talking a lot about it.
They said 2 weeks.
Well, hopefully
that's what I heard.
Again, go back to cluster. What is your current favorite field tech for cameras, binoculars, and anything for sky viewing? Lee, I'll let you take this one.
Currently, primarily, I use 2 different pieces of gear. I use a Luna Optics night vision, and then a Sony A7S3. Beautiful camera, the Sony. The Luna Optics is an amazing night vision camera, a binocular that I use. But yeah, those are the 2 pieces of gear that I use. It's real simple, you know. If I'm going to go out and do a night watch, I take those 2 cameras primarily. I've got lots of others, but primarily the things that I have captured have been on those 2 cameras. Simple.
What do you use for night vision again?
The Luna Optics, and it's a Gen 2. They've changed the name like 3 different times. I don't know exactly where it's at right now, but I'd have to look it up. It's the LN3, I think, something or another. I'd have to look that up for you, Dave, the actual model number.
That's awesome. I've only had the opportunity to use night vision a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I say a couple of times, I'm saying like maybe 2 times. Once with you and once with one of my new research team members, Angelina.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome.
It is, depending on what you get. Absolutely. If you get a high quality one, it's phenomenal. And it's the only Luna Optics I definitely would use for the sky and not for the woods. If you're going to look in the woods for something else besides UFOs, I'd go with, you know, like a different camera, like Psionics. So,
I'm getting a Psionics soon.
Yeah.
Tim Senor is sending me a Psionics camera.
Which model?
I don't know.
Is it the Pro?
I don't know. I'll find out though.
Yeah.
I will find out because it's going to be really cool. And it's really going to help with our Flight 21 project as well.
It will. And you can use an IR light as well to illuminate for that camera.
Beauty. All right, let's move on to another question here, my friend. Let us next go to, well, clusters in here a lot. Who is the best video geek that will analyze this data? My opinion on this, Mark D'Antonio from MUFON. He's probably the most famous name on this list of people. I think Tom King would do a good job at analysis. There are very few who can actually do this properly. At least very few that are public about it that could do this properly, like specifically focusing on UFOs. And if I miss anybody on that list, I do apologize for my ignorance on it. Do you know anybody else, Lee?
This guy's been doing it for years.
You say yourself. That's why I was playing along there.
I've been doing that for years and years. Yeah, I fancy myself. I should say I fancy myself a video analyst. So,
what makes a good UFO video? Let people know.
What makes a good one? Well, if the object is slow enough, to capture as much time with it as possible. Typically, UFOs move through the sky pretty quickly, but if the video shows a UFO near a stationary object, that really helps. Or if there's something in the background where you can kind of get an idea of distance from the camera and size of the object. It's an approximation. It's definitely not hard science there, but it does help define the object much more. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for. Also, time of day is going to matter as well, and there's a lot of variables there. There really is. How the sun is hitting the object, and between the equipment and the object seen, and what the guy or the person that is running the equipment, it's really between those three things that is going to make your video.
Let's go to another question here. When will crop circles be addressed in disclosure? I like this question. You want to go first, or you want me to, Lee?
That's a really good question. I wouldn't even know where to start with that one.
I think I'm going to put it this way. Anything that is personal is not going to be accepted right now. When the To the Stars Academy came out, and this is just my opinion, when the To the Stars Academy came out in 2017, and then we had the New York Times article follow that up about a month and a half later, 2 months later. It was all about nuts and bolts. Propulsion systems, anti-gravitics. It had nothing to do with aliens. It had nothing to do with abductions. It had nothing to do with contact or other involvement of any other part of the phenomena. And then we built it up, and it's been only the last year to 2 years where we've seen people start talking about alien abductions, in the congressional hearings, if we want to get professional about this. I mean, because there's always people talking about it, but whether or not it's mainstream, that's a different story. Okay. But when we talk about alien abductions or crop circles or ET contact, close encounters of the third kind, summoning UFOs, we started getting into that with Skywatcher, claiming, that they were able to summon UFOs. What was the terminology that they called it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank now. I caught some of your brain fog. Okay. Yeah, thanks for donating that to me. I appreciate it.
Psionics, by the way.
Yeah, psionics. That's what they called it, psionics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They never let anybody know that this has been doable by everyday average Joes for centuries who have had an interest in this subject about summoning UFOs. They wanted it to be all their own, like they invented it. That's the way they kind of brought it out. Whether they meant it that way or not, behind the scenes may not be the truth. But the way they proclaimed it on the publicity side, I mean, there were people believing that they invented this. And, oh my God, look, they're summoning UFOs with this psionics. Look what they're doing.
Dog whistle as well.
Yeah,
the old
other
good
people
old
have
dog
been using
whistle.
that for a while. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Word of advice, people. You don't need the dog whistle. All you need, I'm going to give you the Cole's Notes version of summoning UFOs. And Lee, I know you do it because you capture a lot of UFOs on camera. You may not like to talk about it, but I'll guarantee you do it. First thing you do is you go outside. Because the UFOs are going to be outside. They're not going to be inside. You're not going to see them on your ceiling. Okay. Then what you do is you clear your heart. Okay. You clear your consciousness and you just give thanks. As silly as that sounds, you give thanks. And then after you give thanks, you put the message out there. Hey guys, you can use whatever terminology you want. I will personally go out there and say, hey guys, I'm coming out of peace, love, and light here. Could you please show me where you are? And then what happens is, naturally, your eyes will always focus on one area of the sky. You could do a 360-degree turn around you. Okay, but for some reason, you keep going back to that one spot in the sky. And there's nothing there. Nothing. But if you put your energy, like you're shooting your Kmart blue light special light straight into that area, it doesn't take 10 minutes. It could take longer. It could take an hour. It could take 2 hours. It's not something that you're going to go out there and say in 5 minutes, oh, this crap doesn't work. That Dave Scott guy is full of it. But all you do is put your energy into that area. It may not work the first night. It may not work the second night, but that third night may be very, very interesting. And eventually you will develop the connection where you'll all of a sudden know hours before that something's going to fly by tonight. So you go outside, you let your eyes go to that area, wherever it is in the sky, and then boom, it's there. That's as easy as it is. Clear heart, clear soul, clear conscience. Follow your eyes. Put the message out. Shoot your Kmart blue light special beam of positivity and peace, love, and light into space. They will show up. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lee.
No, you are correct, sir. That's pretty much it. You don't have to see a map in your mind and then see where you are and then say, this is where I am, guys. You don't have to do any of that stuff. What Dave has said is pretty much the truth. You want to go out wherever you're going to go to view the sky. You want to go there with the thought that, hey, guys, I'm coming out here to see you. I just want to, know that you're there. And then, of course, have the clearing of your heart and just, have that love for everything, not necessarily just for ET, but for everything. Right. And it's not necessarily like a prayer or anything like that, but it's just a clearing of yourself, and to open yourself up to them. Right. And they just know that you're there. Somehow they know, and they're going to know where you're looking, and that's where they're going to show up. And eventually in your mind, you're going to say to yourself, well, they're going to show up there and they're going to go across the sky and they're going to do this. After a while, that's what comes into your mind, and it happens.
We have Lee Strauss for another hour. We got Swamp Dweller coming up. The UFO conversation continues right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're going to play our video here, okay?
All right.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio Store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right. A big thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. We got about a minute to go before we launch. And one thing that we do want to say is, if you haven't already, and I've seen a lot of new faces in our YouTube chat and on X following us and listening in tonight, thank you so much. Hit subscribe, hit follow. We are here every Monday through Friday for 3 hours a night. Yeah, we are a terrestrial radio show. And next week, I can finally announce our new radio station. Finally announce our new radio station next week. I'm so excited. I will say this. We have our second Canadian home. I'm pretty pumped up about that. So, yeah. Thank you. You're helping us grow. Thank you. We're coming back in 7 seconds. Swamp Dweller will be about 2.5 minutes. We are into the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We've been talking about the week that was in ufology with Lee Strauss, and we're having a great time taking audience questions as well. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Kantakoi. Kantakoi is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. Hello, my name is Clara. I've been a big fan of the show for quite some time. I live in the upper state of Michigan, and I love to hike and camp along with some hunting. I went out one day with my stepdad to go hunting so we could catch some deer and whatnot. Once we got out to where we were hunting, we packed up the gear we had brought from our house. I smelled something foul, like a pile of garbage or rotting fish mixed with some lousy body odor. We ignored it as we thought it was something dead lying nearby. We made our way through the woods onto a beaten-down path that we had found. Once we got quite a ways down it, we stopped and took a couple of minutes to take a break. We heard a massive crack in the background behind some large bushes, like something had broken a big branch. My stepdad instinctively grabbed his sidearm from his holster, which is when whatever it was growled at us and sped off. Whatever it was, it sounded big and very quick. We ignored it and hiked even faster to where we needed to go. Once we got there, we set up camp and started to make lunch. We had a hot dog and a side of salad. As we ate, I began to smell that putrid smell again, almost making me vomit my food. I had to pee, so I went off. With it being near dusk, I grabbed a flashlight and a hunting knife that I had brought with me. I squatted down as I was about to take a pee until I saw something move in the distance. I shined my flashlight at whatever was moving. I could see orange or red glowing eyes shining as I became frightened. I pulled my pants back up and ran back to the camp. I told my dad what had happened, and he went to check it out. After a couple of minutes, I heard a scream in the direction my dad had walked off. He ran back, panicking. He had blood oozing down his knee. I asked him what had happened, but he stayed in silent mode. He packed our stuff as fast as possible and walked quickly back to the truck. Once we got halfway there, we heard a loud call from something that I had never heard before. At that moment, we started running as fast as we could, nearly tripping over roots and rocks, until after a couple of minutes or so, we finally made it back to our truck, packed everything in the back, and sped out of there like a bat out of hell. We came home and went to sleep, but before that, I saw his knee, and it looked like a big rock had hit it.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories for you to listen to each and every day and night, so make sure you check them on out.
Call him extra small, but he's big where it counts. Chasing Bigfoot through the woods on wild accounts. Talking ghosts in the dark, UFOs in the sky. Aliens laughing while they're cruising by. Yeah, Strauss is out there. Hear that cosmic call? He's the legend of Element 115. Here on Spaced Out Radio's Q&A.
Now, Lee, I had to play your theme song because this is normally when you're on with us at this time of the week. But thank you for being here, my friend. We always appreciate you coming on in and especially going the distance with us tonight, because this has been a very, very important week in the world of UFOs, with the files being released, more files coming in the coming weeks, more videos coming in the coming weeks. I mean, if you're into ufology, yeah, we can nitpick it and pick it apart. That's kind of our job of what we do, but it really is exciting times.
It's incredibly exciting. Very. Yeah, especially for us and everybody on here. I mean, you said how many people have looked through the files? You said there was almost 500 million people.
There's been over 500 million visitors to the war.gov/UFO website.
That is so freaking incredible to hit those kind of numbers over this. I mean, in what mind would you think that that's not something that people want to know about? I mean, those numbers are just ridiculous. And that's not just people, right here in the US. It's people all over the world that are looking at this stuff. There's such a fascination for things that we don't understand, and things that we have seen out of the corner of our eye. Is that real? Is it, well, it must be, or, maybe it's not. But then with the release of this stuff, I mean, so many people are waking up to it that have brushed it aside. And it's just an exciting time to be alive. And if UFOs are real and ETs are real, what else is real? What else? It can go on forever. One of the things I always like to say is I like to believe that there's still a little bit of magic left in this world, and the ET and UFO phenomenon is part of that magic. So it's awesome. It's awesome to see. Definitely. One of the curious things that has been going around lately is whether or not ET are time travelers, whether ET comes from another planet, or maybe they're from another dimension. Are they us from the future? What is it, right? I mean, those questions are out there, and people are wondering those things. Is it possible, Dave, that there are all of those things?
I think they could be all of them. I mean, this subject opens us up to a whole new realm of science. A science that we have only talked about and theorized for years. And look, I'm not a scientist. I'm nowhere close to being a scientist, but I can tell you this: space travel really intrigues me. Time travel intrigues me. The fact that we're looking into different dimensions moving at the same time. Are these things interdimensional? Have they been a part of us our entire life? If you look at Dr. Michael P. Masters and his extraterrestrials or Temptation Island aliens or whatever the hell he calls them. And I say that in fun because I know it's extraterrestrials, but I like to bug him about it. Okay. He believes that they're us, but from the future, which means that's time travel. Have they figured that out? Do we have time travelers walking on our planet right now? Have you or me or anybody in this field, been out shopping looking for running shoes or traveling to a casino in Las Vegas or maybe in New York City to watch the Big Apple drop on New Year's Eve? Have we been literally standing beside time travelers and we don't even know?
Yeah, that's a curious thought though too, and it goes into the abduction phenomenon. People say, "Well, I was only gone for 5 minutes," but no, you were gone for hours or, sometimes days. People haven't been seen, but they think they've only been gone for a short amount of time. I mean, are they experiencing time travel? Or just quite the opposite, where they think they've been gone for a very long time and they were only gone for just a little bit of time. So there's definitely something with that phenomena, the missing time aspect of it, right? So what is really happening? And hopefully, the science that we don't understand will, because of disclosure, we're going to be able to get a better grasp at. It's possible. The thing that I have heard for so many years is that the science is wrong. When it comes to UFOs, our science is wrong. And it makes me think, well, how is our science wrong? The way that we've been taught about science and some of the calculations are incorrect. Is that what we're hearing? Is that what we're to understand? Well, what's the truth now? Now that this is coming out, what part of our science is incorrect? And how do we fix that thought? And how do we correct it? And what does it lead us into?
There are so many different questions that need to be answered through this entire phenomena. And you're right. Okay, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, disclosure has so many different variables to it. Okay, we mentioned crop circles earlier. That would be part of disclosure. Not the ones that are human made, but the ones that seem to be made by these craft. What are they? Are they navigation markers? Are they mathematics? Are they tattoos on the planet?
Yeah.
What are
Art?
they? Are
Is
they
it
art?
just art? Yeah.
Right? You look at that. You look at missing time. How can somebody be driving down the highway, see a weird light over top of their car, and the next thing you know, they're 270 miles further, and in their mind, they've only been gone for, blanked out for like 5 or 6 minutes, like everybody does on a monotonous drive. We all kind of daze out. We're paying attention to the road, but we're just allowing the moment to happen, and we're not really paying attention to the time. And yet you made 270 miles
Yeah.
in what seems like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What about family lineage? Where grandpa got abducted, son got abducted, dad got abducted, the other children get abducted, the grandchildren get abducted. What's with family lineage? Is it Rh negative blood? We don't know. These are all streams of disclosure. It's not just about propulsion systems, anti-gravitics, what these craft look like. There's more to it. And that is part of the difficulty of the conversation that has to happen. Now, are we at that point yet? I personally think we are. I think we've taken steps backwards, especially, once again, to reiterate from what we talked about earlier, with the videos that are coming out that look like a game of Pong.
Yeah. Or a flare being dropped. I mean, it's when they release stuff like that, it's obviously something that somebody has put in the file to cast out, for people, right? Well, if one thing is, a known object or whatever, why aren't they all a known object? But continuing with this, we're going to be getting new files, hopefully. And so, to clear some of that up, I think it will. And then I think you're going to see similar things again within the next file drop. You're going to see some known stuff once again, but there's going to be more of the phenomena in there. It's for you to discern, right? And it's for people that are smarter than us to look through that stuff and say, no, that this is what that is. I've seen this before. So that's we were going to be relying on other people as well to look through those files and give us their opinions.
I want to know how people are going to react to this. Okay, because I think there is great concern over some of the topics. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I want to go into it with you. Okay, because there is real concern about what's going to happen economically. Okay, if they come out with full disclosure, what happens to the economy? What happens to people who are suffering from depression and anxiety? What happens to religious people who've been taught that anything from the sky that is not human or human made is of the devil himself? And that usually leads to Armageddon, which is in Revelation and other religious texts. What happens here? Because whether we like it or not, more than half of this planet is still praying to a religious deity.
Mm-hmm.
These are questions that, are they edging us towards those? Okay, while we're getting on the flip side, other people like Matt Gaetz coming out saying, oh, by the way, I had a uniformed soldier tell me that there are 14 bases in the United States where we are kidnapping people from war-torn countries and third world countries and crossbreeding them with aliens to try and create better communication with the ET species. What the hell is that? How does that fall into the bricks and mortar part of this?
Yeah. Once again, there's a lot of things that we don't know. And the evil that is done, you can see, comes from humans. We haven't seen that evil from ET.
You're right.
We haven't.
And we want people to realize, too, to add to Lee's point, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, do we really think that the ETs would allow us to get as advanced as we are if they wanted us to be slaves or food?
Mm-hmm.
If we can believe the hieroglyphics that are on a lot of these Egyptian and Mayan and Peruvian pyramids and other artifacts, they have been coming here for centuries, if not millennia. And if that is the case, that we have been being visited for millennia, do we not think, or are we so clouded in our thinking and the fear mongering that we have been forced to accept as reality? Do we not think for a second that if the aliens really wanted humanity or humanity dead or enslaved, that they would wait until we were technologically advanced when they could have got us when the biggest advancement in warfare we had was a bow and arrow and a spear? I mean, we all have to give our head a shake on this a little bit, Lee.
Yeah, I agree with you in some aspect, but in others, I think that we're nowhere near, as advanced as they are. If they wanted to take us out, all they'd have to do is drop a little bug and infect us all, and we'd all be gone. It'd be so quick.
Well, then it comes down to the fact, well, what about the people who just vanish and disappear? Where'd they go? Well,
that's the David Paulides stuff right there. Yeah, there are people that do disappear. And maybe at no fault of the aliens themselves, but maybe they do abduct somebody and they have a heart attack because they're so frightened out of their mind that they, couldn't handle it. Maybe something happened to them. Maybe they have an aneurysm or these sorts of things. I mean, things happen to us on a daily basis. Maybe some of those things just happen to happen when they're taken. Um, one of my thoughts for a long time, I was so angry about being taken, and it wasn't right. And I had to deal with that in my mind. And the conclusion that I eventually got to through therapy and some different things was that was always the plan, that I was going to be taken. And it really wasn't for nefarious reasons. It was all part of the plan. So it's not, I don't know if it's the fact that after so long, of going through it, that what is that syndrome called when people really accept their captors and want to be around them.
Is that Stockholm syndrome?
The Stockholm syndrome, exactly. So I don't know if it's that or it's just, have such a thirst to know more. That's the human condition, right? We want to know. Is that I think more is part of it. About that is really what's going on. Is we have such a thirst for knowledge, and to know and to understand that we don't mind being taken in the middle of the night as long as we're going to get some sort of information from the experience, right?
That's very true. That is very, very true. And when that experience happens, how do we react to it? How should we react to it? What are we supposed to do? Who do you report it to? Opens up a lot of questions. Lee, let's go to questions. We've got 2 minutes to go here. Let's go to hidden files. What about a craft on the ground in the yard? What do you think about that? Well, we had that at Flight 21, where in 2023, there was a craft on the ground about 20 yards from us. 6 people could not see that craft that I was looking at. But 6 people saw the aliens walking through the trees that I did not see. UFOs happen. They land. What do we do about it? Well, you try and collect evidence. We got evidence on it when Lee brought his Geiger counter up. 2 years later, we were still getting radiation readings, which should not happen in the middle of a forest, Lee.
It should not. There would be no reason for us to be picking up radiation out there in that one area, and everything around it, we were getting nothing. But right where you saw that UFO, we were getting readings higher than background.
What was more impressive? The radiation level readings, or when you look down near the end and there was a Sasquatch track right in the middle of the moss?
I think the readings were more important for you and for me because that was validation. You know what I mean? We've seen tracks before, but getting validation that there was possible craft right there in that circle, that was pretty huge.
And on that note, Lee, we're down to our final half hour coming up after the break here on Spaced Out Radio. Ufologist, experiencer Lee Strauss has been with us through the entire show. He's going to finish it up with us as we finish up strong, talking UFOs and the UFO files that are now over a week old.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
Thank you, Paramar, for throwing that up there.
What's the old Paramarver throwing up there?
All my links. I don't
know
think I've
how
got
he
it.
finds them all. He's so
I don't know.
talented.
I don't know how he got my TikTok because I haven't had that for years.
What about your threads?
I have a threads.
I don't even have
that's where I'm all shirtless and stuff on that one.
Of course. That's where you show off the extra small. People don't realize you're actually 5'1".
Oh my God, stop.
You're only about $111.
I'm okay there, mister. We'll go with your story tonight. Yeah. I think it's this lens that makes me larger than I am in life here. No. Yeah, but I think there's quite a bit. He hasn't looked up my YouTube channel. So
Lee has an OnlyFans page too, but I won't post it.
No, I got a lot of videos and stuff on YouTube, and that's Not of This Earth, 2,500. Cool stuff.
That's awesome.
It's pretty damn cool.
Need a video from you for CaribouCon.
Oh, you do. Shoot, that's right. Dave, you do need a video from me.
Shoot it tomorrow.
I'm going to shoot it when I'm on the mountain tonight.
Yeah,
in
that'd
the
be
morning.
great. That would look really good. Who are you going out there with?
Just me, myself, and I.
Oh, God, I hate it when you do that, brother. I hate it when you do that. You know I hate that, right?
Well, it's all good, brother. When I'm done here tonight, I will pack up my stuff and head on out.
Are you staying the night out there?
No, I'm just going out there, and I'll probably turn around and come home. I'll probably be home at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I hope you're planning on sleeping all day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the plan. But it's like those times when you kind of feel like, well, maybe I need to go do that. I don't know why, but why would I do that in the middle of the night? I don't know, but I'm going to do it.
I still don't like it. Just like you want to stay the night out at Flight 21.
Yeah, but not alone. That place is different. I couldn't stay there alone.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
I have no desire for that. That place is way too creepy. And you don't know creepy until you're there.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been plenty of places, backpacking so much of my life, been to some creepy places. And when it gets creepy, I just turn around and leave. But that place right there is creep factor level 10.
Yes. You know what I like about my hair being short? I can wear a ball cap without my head hurting anymore.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm a size 2 clipper on the side. I go really short.
That's what I do too. Size 2 on the sides.
We got about 45 seconds. Let's say a big thank you tonight to our super chatters, Little Timmy Senor, KJ ×2, Dutch Hank, Gizmo, Area 54, and Kitty Cattywhack. Thank you for your love. We appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, or if you're listening in on X, hit follow. We are here 5 days a week for your listening entertainment. 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. We're always live. We are always live. That's one thing I love about what we do. We're always live. And we're coming back in 5 seconds. We're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in as we have Lee Strauss here. We're going over what's happened in the week of UFOs, and it's been a big story through and through, and we're here to talk about it all tonight. Lee, welcome back, and let's get right to some audience questions. We're going to start off with Nicole here. What if our new Space Force toys are transmedium craft?
Well, that's possible, isn't it? Never thought about it. But yeah, why would we, some of the stuff that we put together, like the TR-3B, who's to say that's just something that's going to be flying through the air? Maybe it goes in the water too. We don't know. Maybe it's just as efficient in our oceans as it is in the sky. Who's to say? We've been back engineering this stuff for as long as we have. Who knows what we're capable of now? I keep hearing this. Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
Oh, okay. So I keep hearing this. Well, we haven't figured out how it works, how they work yet. And a lot of people are saying that, when they crack open the craft and get in there, that, the radiation kills people. Well, I don't deny that, but I would hope to think that by now we have some understanding of, how they fly and are creating our own craft. But who's to know for sure? But maybe we'll find out with this disclosure.
Well, here's the thing with transmedium craft for people who may not understand. A transmedium craft, it refers to like a UFO or an unidentified object capable of traveling seamlessly through multiple physical environments. So let's say it goes from 100 feet in the sky, it's flying at just below what we would consider Mach speed, goes into the water and continues that speed through the ocean at, an incredible clip. And it does not damage, it does not change shape, it doesn't do anything to the craft. It just keeps going like it's like you've turned on a road. Like you've gone from one highway junction to another. That's it. That's pretty much what it is. Now, do we have that? That's the $1 million question. Here's what we do know. We do know that China and Russia have a very advanced hypersonic missile program. We know the US has a hypersonic missile program. So getting up to speeds is possible. We could do that. Hypersonic being, I believe, anything above Mach 3, Mach 4. If we believe Top Gun 2, we've hit Mach 10. I still love that movie. Top Gun 2 is a good movie. But, we also have to take into consideration that people like Michael Schratt, who's an aviation historian and a real dogged researcher in this, along with people like Jim Goodall, who believe that, after dealing with the people they know at Lockheed Skunk Works, that they're well more advanced. And we're not talking a few years. We're talking decades advanced further than what we are, maybe even up to a century ahead of where we are technologically right now. And if we have that, how did we get that? And why are we not using it for the betterment of humanity? And I use this example a lot, and I'll use it again here. When the Boeing developed the 707 60 some years ago, it took, if you were to fly from Seattle to New York, or closer to me, Vancouver to New York, 6 hours. And with all the technological advances, the safer aircraft, the better aeronautics, the better aerodynamics, the better navigation, the better computers, it still takes 6 hours to fly from Seattle or Vancouver to New York. To me, that sounds ridiculously. It sounds terrible. Like, really, what have we advanced in? The aircraft still look the same. They're traveling at pretty much the same speed. Where are we? Why is it taking so long?
Well, we had the Concorde, right? So we do have supersonic jets, right? They can make them. It's cost prohibitive is the problem.
I agree.
So if we have the tech and they're able to do it, the issue is the cost, and who's going to pay, $800, dollars to fly from you to me.
Try
They're
being
going to do
Canadian.
it.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, okay, but seriously, it's gonna, it just doesn't make sense unless you have, that a ton of money to spend on a plane ticket, which a lot of people don't right now. And I thought I heard that somebody was building a new supersonic passenger jet, but I haven't heard anything about it for months and months. But yeah. We have the tech, and our government's going to spend the money. Money is not an issue to them for sure, as we've seen on the waste part of things. So we
will see. We will see what happens. Let's get to another question here. This one comes from Hidden Files. What's the most convincing footage either of you have captured? Now, Lee, you are way better at this than I am, because realistically, I've been an enthusiast my whole life. My whole life in this field, which is 15 years old, coming up 15 years old. I've never cared about carrying a camera. I've never cared about filming anything. I just want to see it, because I don't need to convince anybody that it's real. I just want to have it for myself. I'm a little selfish that way. I've never considered myself a researcher. I consider myself an experiencer and an enthusiast. But thanks to our project out at Flight 21, I'm having to change that attitude. And, I'm having to get camera gear. I'm having to get equipment that will launch us into that next area. Hopefully one day I'll get something. As for a UFO that I've filmed or anything, I've never caught one. But Lee, on the other hand, has some incredible stories. So I'm going to let you take this, Lee.
The most convincing and incredible footage that I have ever taken, I would have to say, was at Mount Baker. This ball of light comes up, not a little speck. No, it's just a little bit bigger. Maybe like the size of your pinky if you were to hold it out in front of you in the sky, right? So it comes up from behind Mount Baker and it's moving along. And I start to talk to it. And I said, okay, if you, basically you're really a UFO, go ahead and flash for me. And then it flashes. And I'm like, oh, that's super cool. And I'm laughing and I'm having a good time talking to my buddy on the phone as this is going on. And I said, okay, can you flash again for me? And then it just does this big glow and then back to its normal brightness. And it keeps going. I said, okay, before you go out of my screen, because I can't turn the tripod anymore or things are going to start getting unplugged. I said, give me one more flash before you go out of the screen. It does this big, huge burst of light. And of course, when that happens, I'm just like, holy cow, my mind is blown. And I actually got that on two different cameras, the Psionics and the Luna optics. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. That was the best piece of confirmation that I have ever got. Not only of, something flying in the sky, but also that they can understand us and hear what we're thinking, or understand what we're thinking during the time that we're viewing them. I mean, that's just and so that brings it back to our discussion earlier about, clearing yourself, right? And being out there and letting them know that you're there to see them and welcoming them, and having that peace and that love, right? So that's all part of that same thing. They know.
They totally know. They totally know. You are exactly right on that. And to kind of go a little bit further with what you're saying, how do they know? What is that cosmic connection of consciousness that they know that we're looking for them. They know that we are trying to communicate with them, right? And would they give you an intelligent response, by their what I like to call power-ups? I don't know what other people call them. I call them power-ups, where all of a sudden, it's sitting there in the sky and you ask it to light up brightly for you. And all of a sudden it goes, say, from the size of a dime to the size of a quarter. That's pretty incredible. And it's intelligent. What is causing that? How did that happen? How did your voice from millions of miles away, or even hundreds of thousands of miles away, whatever the distance may be, maybe 500 miles away, how did your voice at this exact tone tell the spaceship to light up, to stop in the sky and light up? That sounds impossibly, but it happens.
It does, and it's part of the consciousness. I think we're all tapped in and tied to the same consciousness, right? If you want to call that God or whatever you want to call it, we're all tied into that fabric of consciousness. And they are able, we haven't gotten there yet, but they are able to discern and hear those different voices within that consciousness. That, Dave Scott is in his backyard right now and he's looking up, having a smoke, wondering if they're going to be there. And then they show up. I mean, it's incredible. We're all part of the same fabric, no matter a plant or an animal or a human or an alien or anything else, microbes. We're all tied to that life force, to that consciousness.
I like what Brian Bowden in our chat room is saying. And if you ever get a chance to listen to any of his 5,888 podcasts that he has going at once, it's always very, very entertaining. But he says, once your consciousness provides the thought, it is broadcast into the consciousness network where the past, the present, and future exist. And every entity has access to it. That sounds so far-fetched, but maybe it is that simple.
It's the truth. Definitely is the truth.
We have about 8 minutes to go in tonight's show. Lee Strauss is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're talking about the week that was. Lee, the one thing we haven't concentrated on, looking at the files that were released a week ago, is let's look to the future. The next set of files. Apparently, we're going to get up to 46 videos. What else do you think could be released?
Well, it sounds like there is some footage of a UFO. I don't know if it was ours or ET, but it's at an Air Force base, actually. And it came down over the runway or something like that, and then hovered there for a little bit and then took off. So apparently there's some really good footage of that. And then there's also some footage of, in another, war-torn area, the Middle East. There's some other footage as well. So let's just hope that, we get the 4K or, 1080 footage that we're looking for, so that we're not looking at dots. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping, personally, I think we're going to get more reports. I think we are going to get more redacted evidence. Okay, whether it's videos or whether it's paperwork, I think there's going to be more redactions. I think we could get more NASA files. If we get more NASA files like we did in drop number 1, pages 15 through 17, if you want to see the NASA files that of the astronauts seeing UFOs. If we get more of that, I think we're trending in the right direction. NASA is going to play a bigger role in this than what we think. I truly believe that. And once they finally come out and say, sorry, not sorry, that will be a really cool moment. But I would love to see that. I would love to see them start moving more into more close-up videos rather than the long-distance grainy videos where you literally need rabbit ears to tune it on in order to see it. Isn't it amazing how when they're bombing the hell out of somebody or firing cruise missiles, the videos look like they are in real time and very, very clear. You know, like talk about showing off maximum power.
Yeah.
But when it comes to UFOs, it's worse than watching an old episode of the Flintstones cartoon that was in black and white. You know, it seems like, I remember when I was 7 years old, we lived out in the country. And we had 3 television channels, and we had to use the rabbit ears in order to tune them in. And sometimes when the hockey game was on and it wasn't quite clear enough, I had to go stand by the rabbit ears to hold on to them to make sure that I used myself as part of the signal to make them better. We don't want those videos anymore. We need clarity. We need clarity. And I also think we might get another name or two. That would be nice. I would like to see that. Do I expect full disclosure? No. Do I expect the president to stand up? No. Do I expect them to talk about Roswell or any of the famous cases? No. I would like to see him get into the Lonnie Zamora case. That would be kind of cool. I mean, they started to tap into Maury Island. What about McMinnville? They got a big UFO conference happening. McMinnville would be great. So now we're going to sit back and see what truly happens. What do you want to see?
What do I want to see, man? I would like to see the president and the administration come out and say, listen up, we've shown you these files, we've shown you these videos, this stuff is real. We are being visited, we have been visited, and we're going to continue to be visited because we are so fantastic here on planet Earth. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I want to see. And some really good footage, right? I think footage of us around a craft that we're looking at, that we're taking apart, would be super cool. But I doubt we're going to see that.
I would love to see a video, Lee, of like an F-15 or an F-18 flying and then all of a sudden have a disc pass it. Let's get a close-up. What about a B-52? Because apparently one of those videos was taken from a B-52. Let's get the close-up of that. What happened there? Right? How about SpaceX? They're the new golden boys and girls on the lot. What have they filmed? What they put up enough rockets now? What have they filmed?
They put a Tesla in space with 5 cameras on the darn thing?
Yeah.
Tell me that wasn't checked out by some UFOs. Come on.
You kidding me? That's still being checked out. Guaranteed they have taken selfies with it. They have stopped their craft to pull even with it, and they have taken selfies with it.
You know it. That's
I want to see
hilarious.
that. I want to see that. And I really hope that they continue and we get real whistleblowers coming out. I would like to see some real whistleblowers who say, screw the NDA. Let's talk about this. Screw the skiffs. Let's talk about this. I want to know where these things are hiding. Not the aliens themselves. That doesn't interest me. That's easy. Space, volcanoes, mountains, lakes, oceans. Real simple. But I want to know where we're hiding them.
Yeah.
Is it at S4 like Bob Lazar says? Is it in some other mountainous range?
Nellis.
I mean, Alaska would be the perfect place to hide it. Yes, it's close to Russia. But I think we also have to understand that when it comes to space, There is a treaty between countries. We all work together. If anybody remembers when the U.S. shut down the shuttle program, how did they get American astronauts to space? Through the Russian shuttle program. There is a collaboration. Can we not use that to collaborate on this story? Right? Let's see it. Wind it up. We got about 35 seconds.
Well, I think it's high time. We're coming out with stuff, and it sounds like Japan will as well, or is planning to. So this is good. I mean, if we're not going to get it all from just our government, these other governments are going to pitch in with this. That's great. That's important. That's wonderful news. Hopefully it gets on, CNN and everything else. We definitely need to push it.
I would agree with you on that, my friend. And I want to say a big thank you for coming on for 3 hours with us tonight. This was an important show to break down what had happened, a lot of the highlights of the first drop of the UFO files, which can be found for you to look at for free at war.gov/UFO. War.gov/UFO. Lee Strauss, thank you very much as we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Great job tonight, Lee.
Thank you, sir.
I think I'll be honest with you, without patting ourselves on the back, considering we put that show together in literally about 12 minutes, we had a great show, dude.
Hey, you just drive the bus. I'll bring the pom-poms.
Oh, you pom-pommed well tonight. So what are you leaving, like, right now?
Yeah, I think I need to go make sure I have everything in my backpack. Headlamp, extra batteries, all the goods. The only thing is I'm starting to feel a slight headache coming on, and that kind of worries me a little bit.
Oh, what kind of headache?
Well, I am known to get migraines.
Well,
And
that's
so
not
that's no, and I'm wondering if I didn't drink enough water.
well, driving at night with the headlights is not going to do you any wonders.
No, that will not be good.
Maybe it's are you sure it's not an alien headache preparing you?
Yeah, I'm sure. That's that. I don't feel the weird ick, so
All right, just making sure.
now that you said that. Yeah. It's that weird vibration from them. No, I don't feel it.
Well, that's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, here's the thing, buddy. You can always turn around and come home.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. This is true. I can. I'm not really planning on bringing any camera equipment with me. Really, I thought maybe I should take my drone with me because that would be kind of cool with the sunset. But
I mean, the sunrise, it's kind of
I mean,
sunset.
sunrise. Yeah, I'm already turned around.
Are you sure you're not tired?
Oh, I'm tired.
Why don't you just go tomorrow?
Maybe what I'll do is maybe I will leave tomorrow night and do it that way instead of tonight. Because then at least I could get my sleep in. Because I've been up since 2:45 yesterday.
Yeah, you need some beauty sleep.
I really need beauty sleep. I'm getting these deep lines.
Don't forget to throw some cucumbers on your eyelids.
Does that work?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know.
I think it's a spa day, Dave.
You should totally treat yourself to a pedicure tomorrow. That would be good.
Yeah. Well, I also have a new hammock I want to try out too. So, yep.
I get you there. All I'm saying is, dude, is you have an opportunity here to be a leader in the field of getting a pedicure, then going to look for UFOs. You do have that ability.
I should film the whole thing step by step.
Totally should.
Absolutely. When they put the cheese grater on my heel.
Oh, I like that. That scares me, to be honest. It scares me.
It scares me too. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, I don't like that part. The filing part actually drives me nuts because it tickles and it's that deep tickle.
Wait a minute. When did you get a pedicure? Because we had a discussion, 2 years ago about getting one, and you hadn't had one.
I've had dozens of pedicures over the years. I haven't had one in a while. I'm due for one.
Yeah, use jalapeno slices. That'll wake you up. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see though. Your eyes would be watering so bad.
Dangerous from there. You ever done that? Accidentally rubbed hot sauce in your eye?
Oh yeah,
that sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. That really sucks.
And you've got quite the collection.
I do, and I need to pare that down. I've been going hard. I emptied 2 bottles a week ago. Like I'd been working those bottles for a while. So when in doubt, hot sauce it out.
Yeah, I mean, when you get sick, that helps with colds and everything, really.
It helps with everything.
Yes.
Killed my bronchitis a few years ago. I had bronchitis for 4.5 months.
Holy cow.
I was on 3 different horse pills and 2 puffers wouldn't work. Went to my doctor. I got it all clean. After I got it all cleaned up, he goes, "What do you use?" I said, "Hot sauce." I said, "It was the capsicum inside." And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I believe you." Like there was no question. Yeah. Just remember this, people. I'm not a medical expert. I only know what worked for me. But hot sauce, when your nose starts to run because it's hot, It's because it's melting your mucus lining in your lungs. All sorts of diseases happen between the mucus lining and your lung lining. That's where they grow and fester. If you do not have a mucus lining because peppers like capsicum are, even though they go in hot and sometimes they come out hot, what they're doing is they're burning that mucus lining and killing any type of infestation within your lungs. And it's all natural.
Yep. That and masses amount of orange juice and zinc. Zinc works really good. But anyway, brother, I'm going to bid you good night and everybody else too.
Yes. Yes, you have a great night, dude. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my friend.
Jumping in early. That really did mean a lot.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. Are you going to be up for a while, or are you heading to bed?
I still haven't decided. I'm on the fence right now. I got to start getting things together and see how I feel.
Look at Tankella here. Never done anything to this person. You, sir, are full of shit. You just care about subs, scumbag. That's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate.
You don't know Dave.
I appreciate that. I don't know, Tankella. Don't know what I ever did to piss you off, but hey, if that's your opinion of me, I'm sorry you feel that way. You know, have fun. You don't need to be here. If you feel the need that you need to insult me when you don't even know me, then obviously this place might not be for you. Don't know what we did. Don't know what I did, because I sure as hell just run a radio show, man. So if you got a beef and you feel that in your heart that you need to take it out on me for something that I didn't do, well, that's on you. That's not on me. You know, the shitty part about that is that hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I
It's
didn't ban you, Tankella. I didn't ban you at all. If you were banned, why are you in this room? I didn't ban you. Now, maybe one of my mods may have disagreed with what you were saying, right? But if you feel the need that you need to take it out on me and call that, well, that's on you. I do care about my subs. I'm a business. Yeah. Oh my God, I have a YouTube channel and I care about my subs. Yeah. Imagine that. You know what, Lee? That is a secret breaker right there to our audience. That is a secret breaker right there. Oh my God. I'm a media business. I work in radio. We're picking up radio stations. My social media is growing. And I care about our channel growingly. What an asshole I am.
Well,
you told me I can't refer to another link. No, I asked you politely. If you're asking me, I don't allow anybody to post other shows' links in here. Okay. If you've been around the block as much as I have, okay, watching people try and steal your listeners, okay, it gets a little frustrating. It does. Okay.
We don't even allow that on Facebook.
No. But hey, if you feel throwing a tantrum on me is good for your soul, please, I'll be your enemy. I've been blamed for shit all my life. So you go right ahead. You go right ahead. If that makes you feel good, you go right ahead. I don't ban people unless they use racial tones. They're very highly insultive to my guest or myself. Okay. If you get timed out, that's likely from one of the mods. So you don't have an issue with me, you have an issue with the mods. Right? So
I will say this, you know, Dave, you've got one of the biggest hearts of anybody I've met in a very, very long time. You have love for everybody. So
yeah.
don't take that crap personally, man.
Yeah. You know what I love about people who do this, who do things like this, and then try to justify it, is they have no understanding of what goes on in my daytime life.
Yeah.
Right? Just like, you know what? I'll be honest with you, Lee. I used to be a real asshole. I really did. And I'm proud that I can admit that. I was an asshole. Probably some people would even call me a bully. Okay, because a lot of people who are bullied through their whole life don't even know when they're bullying people back, if that makes sense. And I can tell you, over the last few years, I've had a real change of heart on that. I think it's when I hit about 40, I think it was before I did this show. And I just got tired of it. It was after my divorce from my first wife, which I'll keep. That's a personal thing, right? But it started then, right? If people actually knew how introverted and I mean, you and I have talked about it, you know, but how introverted and scared of people I really am. Like I'm petrified of people. Petrified. I think I've told you that. Right? But I am petrified of people. And yeah, weird as that sounds, people scare me. Right?
Well, you seem to be very good in front of people. You know, the couple times I've hung out with you, you've always been really good with the group of people. Of course, it's not a super large group of people, but you
No,
know,
but you know what it is though? And I've often wondered whether I should actually talk about this in front of our audience, but this comment just kind of triggered me. Okay. And like I've said many a time on this show, I suffer from depression and anxiety. I do. You know, you could give me a million compliments and I see something like this. You just care about your sub scumbag. You're full of shit. That really bothers me. That really bothers me big time. Right? And Tankella, if we're not for you, we're not for you. If you want to think you got under my skin, you didn't get under my skin. But it bothers me that you felt the need that you had to come in here after I just got off the air and felt the need that you needed to be an asshole to come in and say that. Like, why would you think that that's a nice human being thing to do? If my show isn't for you or you don't like the way that something was handled, did you ever think that maybe you could reach out to me and say, "Hey, Dave, what happened in this situation?" Did that cross your fucking mind at all? Or are you too much of a loose cannon where you think that you got to come in here, try and hurt my feelings, make me look bad in front of my audience, okay, when I didn't even ban you? Right?
Yeah.
Like, do you think you're a hero? Do you need a badge now? Okay. I mean, I could tell by your comments, the LOL, that, you know, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a rise out of me. Right? But let me tell you something. Comments like that do hurt. They can hurt people. Would you say that to your mom, your dad, your sibling? Right? Would you tell your best friend that? Right? When you don't, or would you tell a person, just walk up to a person in the middle of the street and just start insulting them like that? You don't know me. You don't know the first fucking thing about me. You don't. Would you like to know how my day was brutal? Oh, they may not be in chat, but they may be listening. Okay. Would you like to know how my day is or how my last year and a half has been? How I'm using this show to absolutely survive mentally? That what you want to hear? Because I've been struggling the last year and a half, almost 2 years. Is that what you want to hear? Right? No, you don't want to hear that. You just want to insult. You know, people like you do these hit and runs. You come in here, you throw in something insultive, you throw something stupid in the fucking chat room, and then you disappear like a chicken shit. You don't know me. I'm not a scumbag. I'm not full of shit. I don't take advantage of my audience. I don't take advantage of my team. That's why when somebody leaves, you know, or somebody goes on to do their own thing, you guys never hear me say anything. You never hear me say, you see me thank them for their time. Doesn't matter whether it was Rob G, who I absolutely adore. It doesn't matter whether it was other hosts on the weekends. You never see me say anything bad. I always take the high road. Right? But for some of you out there, not many of you, but for some of you, you love creating the drama. And I'm acknowledging it. I'm not biting into it. I'm acknowledging it right now. Big difference. Okay. You don't know what somebody has gone through. And if you guys, you know, I'm like you guys, man. I don't know any one of you singly. I know I've met a few of you, like Tim Mothman and his goatee. I've talked to Joe Monk. I've known Joe for 10 years. Okay. I know a few of you personally. The majority of you, I have no clue. I don't know what you're like in your life. I don't know if you're struggling for food or you're a multimillionaire. I don't know if you're living paycheck to paycheck or less, or if you are somebody famous. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's who you are as a person, right? It's who you are as a person. And if you think that coming into my room and trolling and saying something vile and untrue about me is going to make you feel better, that's on you. It's not on me. If you were so insulted that you got put in the penalty box for doing something or saying something stupid in our chat room, but you feel the need that you got to come back in here and insult me, take a pot shot at me after I did not have a good day today or yesterday or the day before or the day before or 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. And I got to be careful with what I say because I am employed at another job. I got to be very careful. But if you think that coming in here and trying to insult me when I've had a bad day, but I don't show it to you guys, or when my guest cancels because he ghosts us 20 minutes before showtime, we can't get a hold of him for 4.5 hours. And then I got to throw together a show to give you guys the best that I possibly can. And thankfully, Lee was a part of that. And thank you, Lee, again.
Absolutely,
Okay?
brother.
And I appreciate all the applause and the thank yous in the chat room, guys. But that isn't what it is about. Oh, fucking humanity. It really is about humanity. Right? And to quote a line from Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, go fuck yourself, San Diego. Now I feel better. Never judge a person, guys. You don't know what they're going through. You guys see me as Dave Scott on this show. I'm not Dave Scott. Dave Scott is a character. Lee knows that. Okay? Dave Scott is a character. That's how I'm able to turn it on and do my thing and do what I have to do in order to produce the best possible radio show that I can that bleeds into YouTube and other mediums. But for the real Dave, the Dave that you guys don't know, that you haven't met or whatever, you know what? Like I said, I'm a lonely person. I'm an introverted person. I'm a very hurt and abused person. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mikey, thank you. You didn't have to do that. I'm just ranting now. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, my fellow Canadian. Right? But you don't know me. You don't know me. You know me as a UFO guy. You know me as a talking head, a guy with a nice beard, somewhat subtle voice, not the most knowledgeable, but the most dedicated. And I don't think there is anybody more dedicated to doing this 5 nights a week in the UFO, paranormal, encrypted world as me.
That
There,
guy.
You want me to get
sure.
cocky, confident? There it is. But the pot shots, they're terrible. Imagine how much that was sitting in her head that she had to come out and say that. Right? And for those of you who do suffer from depression, I know Lee does. I do. Okay. All it takes is one little snap from somebody being an asshole that could make your day very dark. And you don't hear the positivity. You don't see the positivity. You don't see the good that you're trying to bring into this world. All you think about is what a worthless piece of shit I must be. And how dark those thoughts become real quick. I'm not lying.
Nope.
Right?
No, sir.
Not lying. That's what this is all about. So if you feel, you know what, up until couple years ago, if you've been a long-time audience member, you will notice something. I never used to block people. Ever. And in fact, you can ask any of my mods. I told them, do not block people. Don't block them. We're not about blocking here. We'll try and win them over. And now I'm like, because people started getting insulted, making stupid comments like that. Now I'm kind of like, thank you, Blue. You didn't have to do that. now I'm kind of like, well, no more. No more. Not taking it anymore. Right? Not taking it anymore. So it's just what it is. It's the internet. It's people who feel the need that they got to be an asshole. That's what it is. So thank you for triggering me a little bit. Appreciate it. And a nice way to end the show. A great show, Lee. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, I think you put him or her in their place. And, I think it shows how much you care, really, about what you do. The fact that you've put it out there on the line like that, as far as you do come here 5 days a week and you're always here. And you put a lot into the show. It's very disrespectful. That person doesn't know what you do. Has no idea.
Then there's Terry Hall listening in. I know a guy that'll tow your car with his dick, Dave. That was part of a weird story, the weird news of the week. Oh my God, Terry, I needed that. But you're right. You're right.
Mm.
The worst part about it is, not the worst. This is the worst. I had a friend of mine, I'm going to keep them nameless here. I had a friend of mine who called me up today and needed help, needed to hear my voice, needed to hear my opinion. And I know this person suffers from depression and anxiety as well. And I love this person to death. I really do. Right? And that person came to me, reached out to me today because they needed me. And I will always take that phone call for that person. And it's funny how, all of a sudden you get something like that fired right back at you. You're trying to do your best to help someone. And then a few hours later, there's somebody, pointing the verbal pot shot at you. And the funny part, I'll let you into a little bit of Dave's life here. And this isn't a woe is me or anything like that. You don't know me. Okay, but I'll just explain. Right? I have always been the one who's blamed, even if it's not my fault. Doesn't matter whether it was my parents growing up, my sisters, my teachers, when I played hockey, when I played ball, I was always the one who was blamed. Even at my daytime job, I'm always the one who's blamed. I'm just that blamable guy. Right? Here's a prime example. I come from a long line of alcoholics. I never drank. But one day, and I never found out who, and to this day, how old am I? I'm 52. This happened when I was like 16, 15 years old. So what's that, 37 years? 37 years? My mom comes up to me and says, "How are you sneaking out of the house?" So what are you talking about? She goes, "Well, a friend told me," and this was in front of her friend, my mom's best friend. My mom's best friend heard from another lady that every Friday and Saturday night she sees me staggering down by my high school, drunk as fuck. And it got back to my mom. Like, "Mom, I don't drink. I don't sneak out. I'm pretty boring. But my mom, till the day she died, believed that I was walking out drunk all the time. Right? Mm-hmm. That's how I got blamed. Another time. Here's something you guys don't know about me. Before I started this show, when I was in real radio, not that I'm not in real radio now, but when I was working full time in real radio, I coached hockey. And I was pretty damn good at it. To the point where I was getting scouted to coach a bunch of junior hockey teams. And it got late in the year. I ended up coaching minor hockey for a year. And I had an incident with one of my players in the dressing room where he shoved me. And I was falling backwards and I grabbed a hold of his arm. I immediately walked out of the dressing room, called up the Minor Hockey Association, told them what happened, and told them that I don't want to coach this team. I resign. These kids are a bunch of head cases. Little do I know, within a month, that story had gone to, I actually physically punched the kid in the head. And I never did. And that story went around rampant to the point where I had a buddy of mine at a different radio station call me up and say, dude, I don't know whether I should report on this or not, but I figured I would give you the benefit of the doubt because you're a friend. But I had somebody call me up and tell me that you actually hit a kid while coaching hockey. So I called up my dad's lawyer. I called up my dad, who recommended me to his lawyer. Talked to his lawyer. And I had some very terse words for the president of minor hockey, because now this was trying to get me fired for something I didn't do. 2 pieces of karma came out of that. About 6 months later, they call me up, that same association that accused me of hitting this kid, which I never did. They call me up asking me if I will do some media work for them for a hockey tournament they ran, because they were struggling on getting support. I said, no, unless I get an apology. No. And then, what was it? 5-6 years later, that same boy whose parents accused me of this, I had coached their other son in hockey, was a great kid, loved that kid. Little did I know that he was a bad teacher, if you know what I'm talking about, especially when it came to texting, and brought shame in our community for that entire family. Especially when you're 26 years old and you're sending certain types of pics to teenage girls that you teach. Karma got them. Right? So there's something that you want to know about. I'm a pretty open book if you ask. The only thing I don't answer questions on are my family, my daytime job. It's all out there. You can find it if you want. I don't care. I prefer that you don't, because I do like a little bit of privacy. But yeah. Right? That's the reality. That's the reality of what we do. And, but hey, I'm a scumbag because I didn't do anything. That's okay. You know, And I appreciate the messages. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. I do. You know, I'm not trying to downplay it or play a woe is me card. I don't care. That's not what I'm trying to do. But just remember the next time I'm telling you all this because you don't know what the person has gone through that day. Okay? You don't know. And that's what it's about. When you suffer from depression and anxiety, one little thing could ruin your whole day or night. And sometimes it'll ruin your week. You know? But that's what we do. That's how we do it. That's how we keep going. But I'll be the asshole for that because I'm always the asshole. Right? And sometimes, I will say this though. Sometimes I wish I could explode and just let it all out. Let it all out. But I don't. Because I'm a business. I'm trying to be professional. And it's just better off. Right? Try and wash it all away. Quote, 5-finger death punch. Right? And tomorrow will be no different. I'll wake up in 7 hours. I'll crawl into my shower because my knees will hurt. I have bad knees. If there's another personal thing that you want to know, I got bad knees. I've got bad muscles. I got bad joints. I've had it since I was a kid. I was in Children's Hospital for it, as a matter of fact. Never diagnosed. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So, there's another piece of personal information for you. But I can tell you this. Where was I going with that? I'll wake up tomorrow morning, crawl into my shower, try and warm my joints up so that way I can actually stand up. I will kiss my son sleeping, give him a kiss on the head. Do the same thing with the wife. And then I will drive out the door and pretend to be happy for 7 hours. Then I will come home. I will excuse myself from my family because I have to mentally de-stress. I'll eat dinner. I'll get changed. I'll go to my ghost tour tomorrow night and put the Dave Scott happy face back on. And then at about midnight tomorrow night, I will fall asleep. And then I will try and hide for 2 days because it's a long weekend up here. Victoria Day weekend for all the Commonwealth countries. And then I will repeat it all on Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday's my day off. Friday, Saturday. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So this show, just so y'all you know, I use it for healing. Okay? I don't take medication for my depression and anxiety because I have this show. I get to end the night every positive. I mean, look, I just spent 3 hours with one of my best friends. Okay? Back in the day, in the 90s, okay, before all this crap started, you know, we'd be out at a bar. You know? We'd be out at a bar. Lee and I wouldn't even be friends. Or if we were friends, we'd be living close to each other. We'd be at a bar for 3 hours. Here we do it on camera, but I get to spend 3 hours with one of my best friends. You know, I get to spend 3 hours or an hour or two with Terry Hall the other night, with Grant. Okay, people that I love. Right? I know I'm lucky, but that's my healing. This show is my healing, which is why 2 years ago, I actually said to my mods who've been with me for a while, I've said to them, any more insults? If it gets personal, let people talk. Right? But any more insults or like horrible insults towards guests or people in the chat room, or lastly, myself, just get rid of them now. I have zero tolerance for somebody, like you get somebody like Fap in our chat room, you'll see him insult me. It's hilarious. I can take a joke. I can totally take a joke. I can have some fun with that too. Right? And I fire back. But when it gets personal, I don't have time for trolls anymore. I'm too old for that shit. I think that's the old saying, isn't it? I'm too old for that shit. Right? I'm done with that. Right? And the reason why most of you are here, not only because I think we have one of the best shows out there, but I think you find it a healing place too, where you're allowed to turn off the bullshit from your day and just relax for 3 hours after being peppered with politics and social media and drama and workplace or whatever. Maybe you have financial troubles and you just want to escape your reality for a while. That's what you do. You come here. You get to hang out. Be with people like who are kin to you. Right? That's what it's about. And I think I'm just rambling. Right? My advice, if you take one thing out of this, okay, hold on, Shaq, if you're going to come to Caribou Con, quickest way would be Vancouver. And if you want to make it even quicker, come into Vancouver, hop on a plane to Kamloops. It's Kamloops. You can rent a car at the airport, then it's just a 2-hour drive north. Literally, you get on the highway and you just head north. Bring Taco Bell with you because there's a Taco Bell. All right. Just saying. But anyways, what I was getting at is just do me one favor. Okay. And I think this is good advice for all of us. And I try and do this with myself. Okay. Next time somebody pisses you off, just remember they may be taking it out on you, but you don't know what their day was like. Right? So when you go to insult somebody, just remember, and we all do it. We all get pissed off and want to tell somebody that they're an idiot. Maybe they cut you off in traffic, or you get caught behind lottery lady at the gas station who has to check 120 tickets. We've all been there. We've all had that happen. Just remember that there's probably more deep down issues that they may have had, right? Maybe they just lost a loved one or an animal, or maybe they're lonely. Maybe they're not good communicators. Maybe they're their spouse filed for divorce. Maybe their child, or no matter how old the child is, told them that they hate them. People are going through shit, man, especially today. And I'm not going to be here one of these guys. Oh, just bring the love. It's all about love. It's all about love. Fuck, there's real life going on right now. There's a lot of shit happening in life right now. And just remember, the next time you get angry with someone or you feel you need to, be a little snarky or whatever, remember, you never know what's going to trigger that person. Think about it twice. Anyways, I'm done for the night because guess what? I get to work in the morning. Lee, do me a favor. When you come out of the forest tomorrow night or whenever, just shoot me a text. Let me know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, Lee, I was going to call you after the show. I'm not going to call you now. I was going to call you. I got to tell you right now. Your conversation with me tonight was probably the best I'd ever heard you talk on the radio tonight. The best.
Nah.
Yeah, dude. You were
brain fog, man.
No, you had the brain fog, but you were way more communicative than ever tonight. Like you were into the subject, you were pushing it, you were taking it down some great paths. Usually you get into short answers. You didn't do that tonight. You were fucking on game tonight. You deserve a tip of the cap, my friend, for that. Honestly, great effort. You were amazing tonight. You really were. And thank you for bailing us out and me out for the audience's sake too.
No worries, man. I don't mind it at all. I love getting on here and talking about some of my favorite subjects. So
yeah,
hanging out with you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to go off to bed. Thank you to our super chatters tonight. KJ coming in strong as a newbie with 4. Mikey, Blue Cruise, Brian ×2, Dutch Hank, Gizmo, Area 54, Kitty Caddywhack, and Little Timmy Cedar. I appreciate your love, guys. Thank you. On Monday, when I will be back on the air, we will have Keely Culpa coming on in. Haunted Hotspots. We're going to get into a little bit of paranormal the first 3 nights of next week's show. Then we're going to get into, so we got Keely, we got Nadine Bailey coming in. We have Merle coming in on Wednesday, Thomas Fessler Thursday, Darcy Weir on Friday. It's going to be a power week of paranormal and UFOs. And of course, we'll be here for anything that breaks as well. And yeah, you guys have a great night. We'll see you all on Monday. Don't forget to leave a comment after the show. Let me know what you think. It helps with the algorithms. And to the rest of you, have a great weekend. And if you're in one of the Commonwealth countries out there, happy long weekend on Victoria Day. Take care.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.